Welcome to another episode of Chopper Willie in the Morning, brought to you by Let the Film Speak. I am one of your hosts, Chop. Here with my main man, Willie Jack. Willie Jack, how you feeling today, man? How you doing?
Hey man, I'm feeling good, man. Week 3 with week 3 for everybody else, man. I already took my lumps, man. So now I ain't got no pressure today. Ain't no pressure, no stress, man. I just get to sit back and watch and enjoy.
You
So
get
I
you,
take
you
that.
get a chance to just enjoy the games, man.
Yeah,
Your Steelers
man.
already played, man. You get a chance to
Yeah,
enjoy the
man.
game. But
It's
that's right,
actually
man.
take a lot of weight off my shoulders, boy. Sunday mornings be stressful for your dog, man.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Hey,
Yeah.
it's a stressful one for us, man, because I don't know. I'm feeling like the way we was looking towards the end of that game last week, man. I'm worried
Hey,
about us, man. I'm worried about us, man.
for sure.
But yeah, man, it's week three. You know what I'm saying? For most teams, well, all teams, 2 games in the
Mhm.
book. We already have the Thursday night game in which we will recap for you all. First and foremost, before we all get started, man, weekly pick'ems, man. Get them in. Get them in. I believe I just about got everybody's too. But yeah, it's gonna be a big week for me. The way that I got my games, Willie Jack, I'm feeling like I'm about to take over first place after this week, man. That's how I'm feeling. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna put that out there, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's how we're going with that. Also, we got a bunch of new subscribers, man. So shout out to the subscribers, man. The new people, checking in and joining the family, man. We appreciate y'all for checking us out and subscribing to us and being a part of the family. Like we told y'all before, the door is open, man. Come get comfortable, man. We got room on our couch. Come watch the games with us. Come kick back. You know what I'm saying? You are all welcome. We welcome any and all feedback, man. So we appreciate all the people who have subscribed to the channel. We definitely appreciate that. So without further ado, Willie Jack, I think it's about time, man. We go ahead and jump into
Let's
the
do it.
Thursday night game, man. Thursday night, we had Pittsburgh traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns with a final score of 29-17. The Browns come away with this W. Willie Jack, talk to me about this game, man.
Man, this was an ugly game. Now, I didn't have us winning this game, and before that last ridiculous touchdown, and I'm blaming Najee on that completely. Go down with the damn ball, man, your stupid ass. Yeah, that was really frustrating, bro. Because now that final score being as spread as it was, because honestly, I was like 2 points off, or one way or the other, like I said in my prediction. But yeah, just a dumb bonehead ass. Look, I'm already so frustrated. It really picked me off though, bro. Like, god dang, man. Like, put us out of our misery. Stop playing. We're gonna pass it to the backup left guard or Kevin Dotson, the start left guard. Man, sit your stupid ass down, man. But outside of that, Nick Chubb, man, is just, and I don't feel bad because it was a good day by him, but it wasn't like an extraordinary day. 23 for like 115. So he you know what I'm saying? And that's still 5 yards a clip or whatnot. But I think he only really squirted loose, I think twice. But for the most part, man, it was just best running back in the game, man. There's only so much you can do with a guy like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even, and I'm not upset at 23 for 115. But the same thing, man, Mitchell Trubisky was the tale of two halves. His first half, man, it wasn't stellar, but it was an obvious improvement, an obvious emphasis on going ahead and letting the ball go, throwing the ball upfield. Spectacular catch by George Pickens, our rookie, who's been, kind of chirping a little bit that, man, he needs his opportunities because he's a player. And man, he showed, man, well, in that moment, man, it's phenomenal catch. So catch of the year, I thought Deontay Johnson had a great one-handed catch up the left sideline week 1. Nah, this GP catch, man, week 2, shades of Odell Beckham, man. So, man, it's going to be hard to top that going forward for the year. But, man, yeah, man, shout out to the Browns, man. Jacoby Brissett looked really good. And honestly, we Amari Cooper, we changed up the way we were playing a little defense. We went a little more aggressive, a lot more blitzing, not getting as much pressure without TJ. Left us in a lot of one-on-one or even zero situations on the back end. Amari, man, Chops told you that's a man killer, man. So he did what he's supposed to do, man. We're not getting home, we're not getting pressure, supplementing with blitzing or not. And you got Amari running, deep drags 30 yards across the field, down the field, man. There's, those shots are going to be there, and they took advantage. So, second half, I think we go into that game up at halftime, 14-13. But in the second half of that game, man, the Browns went to another gear and we stalled out. So I think we opened the second half with 3 or 4 straight 3-and-outs. Defense is now a little worn down, and like I said, we can't keep pace. And then we get that dumbass play at the end of the game with Najee and the hook and ladders and all that good stuff. But no, outside of that play, man, the game went about it how I expected it, realistically. And like I said, my score would have been, I'm damn near spot on if not for that. So there's that. But yeah.
Yeah, so you summed that game up pretty nice. I agree with everything that you said, Willie Jack. The only thing that I didn't see that I actually saw, you kind of mentioned already, was the performance of Brissett. And actually, Trubisky played pretty well as well. And I think he played well enough to save him another spot for at least another week. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll be able to come out one more week and start. And this will be, I know you kind of hinted at it in our last show, Willie Jack, but I think this next game for Trubisky will be very important and will tell that story on if he's going to be the quarterback after that going forward. I think it's going to be either this one or he's going to play very, very well to hold that spot, or I don't think he's going to hold it. You know what I mean?
No,
So that's what I'm kind of saying.
Well, our next slate of games is honestly where the schedule picks up. So I think he's got the job now to the bye week, because like the natural breaks in the season, this game would have made sense. If he'd have played like he did week 1 and week 2, I think it's undeniable and we got to pull him. But I think, like you said, in that first half, he did enough, I think, to at least buy more time, because now we've seen, okay, it's in there somewhere, the ability to actually kind of stretch the field a little bit. And like I said, if we can get that done more, I mean, not just more, just it's got to be some type of, it's just got to be something on the other side of the ball. And so I think he saves himself. Our next game, we've got the Jets next, but then after that, we got Buffalo, Miami, and maybe Baltimore or something like that. So it's going to be, this is like the roughest stretch of our season. And what's so frustrating is, as bad as we've played, bro, we should realistically be 2-1. Realistically, we should be 2-1. I'm not going to give us that Browns game. Opportunities were there, but I don't think there were specific just inequities and mistakes that literally took that one away. So I think literally we could be 3-1 or 2-1 at this point. And then that Jets game next week ain't even safe. Ain't nothing safe with the way the offense is looking to play.
Right.
But with that kind of murderer's row coming up, I don't think we want to throw Kenny Pickett into those running teams we're going to run into. And so now I think Mitch does carry us to the actual bye week when the scheduling, I think, softens back up.
Okay. All right. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. Miles in the comments, man. Miles, what's going on with you, my dog? He asked, man. He said, Brissett looked good and very confident. Of course, we agreed to that. But he also says, was it Ben or the play calling, for Biscuit? You know what I'm saying? That made him look really good.
Was it Ben? He said off of Trubisky. Okay. So similar to what Trubisky got when we get into a lot of the no huddle situations, generally your quarterback kind of more or less takes over play calling, because it's no huddle. We're getting right up to the line. I'm reading defense live and I'm making calls. And so Trubisky, much like what Ben would do, he does tend to look better in the no huddle situation when he's calling the live defense based on what he's seeing. And so he did look a little better in those times. And so I guess to that effect, then maybe it is the play calling of Canada, of Matt Canada, our offensive coordinator. Because like I said, and this is what's been so troubling, man, and I'm making us talk too much about this. Everybody's not as invested in the Steelers.
You good.
But people are complaining about us, like the players on the offense are complaining about us not getting the ball, but they're also telling you that they're open. And so as much as I want to complain about Matt Canada's offense, players are complaining that they open and just not getting the ball. So yeah, I do think the offense is limited in that it's not maybe as dynamic as it could be, especially in the face of other offenses around this league, especially with our weapons group, bro. Our weapons are really talented. And so one thing we can say is like, man, well, we got a terrible scheme, but then at the same time, you hear boys chirping about they wide ass open. So it's like, okay, well, the scheme doing something. If boys is getting
something's open, working, something's got to be
working. So I think it's a combination of maybe the timing of the plays or the way he's calling them is in too much of a predictable fashion. And then that coupled with Biscuit, man, Mr. Biscuit, not having his eyes where he is or not pulling the trigger on the ones that are there, that type of thing. And so I think it's a combination of both. But neither of them, even on their best day, I would still think that neither of them are anything, I guess, overly special. But at least if both of them played well enough together, then our offense could at least be competent. But since neither of them are even competent as a whole, they can't even reach the slightly above average offense that they could be. Like even if everything worked how we wanted, there would still be a C+ offense given the scheme and the guy pulling the trigger and Mitch. C+ B- is the best we could hope for. So it's still not like it's a dynamic scheme. It's not the Rams offense being held back by Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? To Understood. Where you see Matt Stafford come in there and really air that thing out. And you know what I'm saying? It looked like Magic City Monday. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that. You know what I'm saying? But it could still be a lot better than it is. But it's limited in those two aspects.
Well, I appreciate you going in and throwing that shout out to your boys. You know what I'm saying? We definitely
Oh yeah,
appreciate
man. Y'all know I do that, man. Come on now.
Got you. All right, Willie Jack, man. Let's get on to these games, man. Of course, that's what the chopping Willie in the morning show is about, man. Is Sunday mornings. We're gonna give you the previews. We give you the predictions of all the games that's happening today and tomorrow, man. We're gonna jump into that, break everything down. And the first game, man, first game on the docket. We got Houston traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. Who you got in this one, Willie?
You know what, man? I wanted to take Justin Fields of Chicago on this one, man. I do, because I do want him to do well. But honestly, man, it's Houston for not just this season, this young season, but even last season. They tend to put themselves in position to be in these games, and honestly, they tend to be a team that, like, if it's a team at or below their level, they do find a way to win. And so I think they can get this one done on the road. So I don't know why. I want to take Chicago, but something's telling me to take Houston, man, and I'm going to go ahead and ride it out. In a game that outside of Justin Fields, it'd be a garbage bowl for me anyway. So I'm not even going to get too deep on this one. But I am going to take Houston on the road. And like I said, man, I think they maybe find a way to get it done. Man, it still don't feel right saying that. But, yeah, I'm going to take Houston on the road.
Gotcha. And for me, man, I actually went with Chicago, man. Chicago, and for me, it's safe to say that these teams are playing for next year. I'm just going to say that. You know what I'm saying? Justin Fields and Davis Mills. You know what I'm saying? They need to see – I want to see the coach turn both of these players loose. Let them do their thing.
Okay.
Let's see what you really, really have. You know what I mean? 28 throws in 2 games, is not going to cut it for Justin Fields. You need to let him get back there, throw the ball, while the bullets are flying. I get it. You got David Montgomery back there who did run the ball pretty well, but add some balance to that. You know what I'm saying? That you have more opportunities in that, and y'all need to put it together, And it goes to show you how much they didn't do for Chicago in this offseason, man, because the offensive line is terrible, man. He can't really get set in the pocket. And, yeah, it's just not a lot for him. And for Davis Mills, like I said, open up the door for him too. Give him more opportunities. You want to know going into the 2023 season what you have at QB before the draft comes. So I think that starts early and often. You start it right now so you can see a full season. I know we've seen a lot of Davis Mills last year, a lot of Justin Fields last year, but this is year 2. You want to see improvement. You want to see some progression, and you want to see if your guy has that thing. A lot of times when you're looking at players, even if they aren't ready or fully capable, you see certain things, certain parts of their game where it's like, okay, we working with something right here, and that's what you want to see with these players, man. So that's what I'm looking forward to in this game. Like you said, other than that, man, it's a game that's hard to judge because of the lack of talent and production for the first 2 weeks by these teams. So, but I'm just going with my gut, man. I'm going with Chicago. Because I do think overall, as far as the playmakers and guys that can make things out of nothing, I think Chicago has a few more of those guys, and a few guys that can cause some turnovers too. So I'm going to go Chicago, final score 27-24. It'll be a close one. It actually may be an entertaining game, but I go 27-24. I got Chicago over Houston.
You know what? And I didn't even give you a score, and so my bad. But I think that might be – I think it might be a little rich, man. I'm gonna go 24-20 Houston. And then, shout out, man. A couple of the membership fell in the building, man. Day one gang, Jarrell in the building. What's going on, dog? Our dog Tom Walker in the building as well. And Tom, man, Tom out here cheering chop on like he ain't playing Tom's Texans. And
now, see, Tom thought I was going to pick the Texans by the way my analysis was going, but here it is.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, shit. I'm about to say, like, goddamn, dog, Chop getting all this love, and I took the Texans. Come on, dog.
Hey, that's how he did you, Willie Jack, man.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna take the Texans 24-20 on the road, man. And honestly, I think they're just more consistent. And that's the last thing I'm gonna say. Just like Chop said, man, that offense. I don't know. I want to know because when Chop told us last week, the boys got less than 30 pass attempts, not completions. He's got less than 30 pass attempts between 2 games. And so now I need to know, and I haven't seen enough of that offense, honestly, because him being dynamic and running the ball does seem to be the only time they have spark in the games they play. So how much of it is just an overall lack of talent. He's got one weapon on there on that offense and on the outside, and Darnell Mooney. How much of it is a lack of weapons? How much of it is maybe his still young or early development? How much can he handle or take on his plate at this time? And then, like I said, the other part of that as well is does forcing him to sit back and throw at this point, does it actually hamper their ability to win because he's so much more dynamic on the other side of it? And so I don't know how that plays out, but I do know that barring him making a specific splash play, I just don't really trust that offense. And I think right, wrong, or other, and it's not spectacular, but I think Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks, like I said, Brandon Cooks ain't missed 1,000 yards in the last 8 years, no matter who's been throwing on the ball. And so I think they still find a way to at least get the ball. They have a more semblance of some style of more consistent offense, even though it's still subpar by an overall standard. But it is still consistently, I can feel that they are competent enough to just go up and down the field offensively, even if nothing special.
Gotcha. On to the next one, Willie Jack, man. We had Las Vegas going to Tennessee to take on the Titans. And I'm going to start this one off, man. 2 0-2 teams with playoff aspirations, man. This is a must-win game. Both of these teams are backed up into a corner, and it's only one way out, man. You got to fight. You know what I'm saying? They're in the alley. They got their backs against the wall, and you got a couple guys, you know what I'm saying, coming at you. What you going to do? You going to fold, or you going to fight your way up out of there, man? And that's the scenario for both of these teams. So I expect this one to be a competitive game. Now, for Tennessee, I think Tennessee, they need to establish their run, man, which I think is going to be hard because we just found out they'll be out Taylor Lewan for the rest of the season. You know what I'm saying, which is their best offensive lineman. So he'll be gone for the rest of the season. Derrick Henry is averaged less than 2 yards per carry the last game, but that's our bread and butter. It doesn't matter who's blocking for him. You got to try to give him the ball. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, he's been playing pretty well right now, Tannehill, he's not going to be the person that's going to carry this team, passing. Y'all have to run the ball, get back to what y'all do the best. And for the Raiders, man, the Raiders, it's set up in a good situation because of those things. The Titans' pass defense is rough. They don't have a pass rush anymore. You can tell that injury that's out for the season, that edge rusher, him is really hurting this particular team. So I'm going Raiders in this game, man. I think the matchup is it just sets up well for them in this moment. Like I said, both of these teams are what we would call cornered animals. You know what I'm saying? And I think Raiders fight their way out of this, man, on the road. And I got them putting up a few points, man, 31-20 in this particular game. I got the Raiders winning this one and getting over the top against Tennessee and getting that first win on the board.
No, and I agree, man. I don't really have much to add to that one. My score is actually pretty similar. I also gave Tennessee 20, but I gave the Raiders 27. The Raiders, now they haven't. There's still a lot of blemishes and things being worked out on for them offensively and defensively. Now their defense, I wasn't too stoked about anyway. You bring over Chandler Jones and pair with Max Crosby in the front, but I don't really feel comfortable with any of the second or third level players on that team necessarily. But that offense, I still do expect it to round into form, into get some nice chemistry going, but that's still a work in process. It's kind of been hit or miss a little bit in the early going with Devontae. First week comes in, looks like business as usual. Second week, he can't really sniff a pass. And then honestly, Derek Carr wasn't particularly great in either of those outages. And so I think that's still just a part of the growing pains and the success. Now, the good thing is they do come up against a Tennessee Titans secondary, just like Chop was talking about, that isn't playing great. And that is a little up and down as far as the pass rush concerns. So I still got them going on the road and getting busy as well, man. But like I said, my score is 27-20. And I don't know if y'all keep a track, man. I don't know if y'all keep a track, man, but your dog might have told y'all something about 4 weeks ago, man, about Tennessee offensive line, about the anticipated lack of production. Derrick Henry, man. Y'all might have knew something. I was that guy. I tried to just tell him Willie told you, man. That's all hashtag Willie told you in the chat, man. I tried to tell y'all.
Hashtag Willie told you first.
Hashtag Willie told you, man. Come on, man. Y'all got to stop playing.
Hashtag Willie Tuck. Hey, you right, Willie
Yeah,
Jack, man.
man.
Couple comments, man. Jarrell. Well, first off, and not Ant, Miles and Tom going back and forth. They talking trash, but Jarrell was being a little sarcastic here, man. He says, and the Titans made brilliant offseason moves to put them in prime position to have a losing season. You know
Hey, for sure. Shout out to Day One Game Jarrell, man. I will never forget the Titans for this offseason they had, bro. I'm telling you, a comedy of errors, multiple, like a comedy of errors, bro. I will never forgive them. For sure.
For sure. On to this next one, Willie Jack, and I'm kind of this one, man. It's another corner animal team, but they just in a rough spot, man. We got KC at Indianapolis, man, and whew, we got the Chiefs going to Indianapolis, man. Chiefs are 2-0. The Colts are 0-2. And this is a rough one, man. What talk to me about this one, man? What you see?
Man, this is a game, man, where, like I said, this could get ugly and out of hand. From what we've seen from these Colts, unless Derrick Henry taps into his 2011, 2012.
No. You Jonathan Taylor. That's who you talking about. You said Derrick Henry.
Oh man, yeah, my fault. Yeah, unless Jonathan Taylor taps into prime AP, the Colts don't look like they have a chance. And so now mind you, that's a tall order. Even if they were playing well, just with the juggernaut that is Kansas City. Now Kansas City, man, is winning. The stat sheet's been pretty clean and pretty decent for Patty, but honestly, they're still not moving and grooving like a flawless, well-oiled machine like we have seen kind of at their peak or at their best. Now they are still getting it done, and so there's no knock there. It's one of those things where, if they're moving at a 93 and everybody else is moving at a 91, well, it's like, well, how you gonna complain? Well, but I've seen them at 97. You know what I'm saying? So like it's still just like, you dig what I'm saying? They're not playing bad and nothing necessarily worth critiquing, but they still have another gear they could get to. Now that should be scary for everybody else. But long story short, man, Kansas City goes in there and puts both paws on Indianapolis, man, in their crib, and give me 31. Give me 31. Ooh, ugly. 31-17.
31-17.
Yeah, 31-17.
And
Matt Ryan's got to show something, man. Matt Ryan's got to show something. And so he's not playing to the level he played last year in Atlanta with less talent. And so, like I said, there is an adjustment period. Boys ain't playing in the preseason no more. And so, like I said, these are live practice reps, active live reps right now for a lot of these quarterbacks in new places, but it's got to be something. He's got to show something. Something's got to get better. Or like I said, man, this is going to quickly spiral out of control for them Colts.
Gotcha. And I got KC in this game too, man. My final score is going to be 30-20 in this game. And I'm just going to start calling these games for teams like this, man. This is an alley game for Indianapolis, man. Alley game, just like it's an alley game for Tennessee and Las Vegas. This is an alley game for Indianapolis. You're in the alley, you're back against the wall, you got to fight your way out, and that's the situation that they're in. The only difference is they don't have regular cats, you know what I'm saying, that they fighting this week. They got some big dogs that's trained martial artists, you know what I'm saying, some guys that can come in there and throw them things, you know what I'm saying, even if they was by themselves. So I got the Colts. I don't know, man. This is gonna suck, and I keep wanting to say that they're 0-2 because a tie just feels like a loss, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? A tie just feels like a loss, but they're 0-1-1, and I expect them to be 0-2-1 after this particular game. Now, the good thing for the Colts is they do have their number one receiver and Michael Pittman coming back. You know, so I think that he'll make a sort of a difference, but not enough to get them over the hump against the Kansas City Chiefs, who are playing at a pretty high level right now. And I'm gonna say this too, Willie Jack. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. I'm gonna spark it up. You know what I'm saying? What Chop been telling you. Chop, let's go. Hashtag Chop told you. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag Chop told you.
Man, what Chop told y'all, man?
I told y'all on April 29th, 2021, before the 2021 season, that Matt Ryan ain't had that many seasons left. You know what I'm saying? He maybe had one or two. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way we trending right now. I ain't gonna say nothing because we got the whole season left, Willie Jack. But Chop told y'all.
Man, Chop ain't told y'all nothing.
So you go, don't do it, Willie, man. Chop told y'all.
Hey.
Back when he was in Atlanta, Chop
this
told
ain't a big
y'all.
enough sample size, man. This ain't a big enough sample size for this.
That's what I said. We still early. But hey, I'm just putting it out there. Just something to think about. I want y'all to start thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Man, that's great. And Chop, man, our dog Tom has been stuck on this thing that the coach are poorly coached. Man, what do you have against Frank Reich, dog? Because Frank Reich has made a lot of chicken salad out of chicken, you know what, for a lot of the years he's been there, man. And this is the first year where it really feels like, man, something's really off for a miss. But we only 2 games in. Even last year when it was ugly with Carson, it didn't look like Reich was the problem. It was Carson. So I don't know what you got against Frank Reich, man. You got to let me know, man. Come on now.
Well, we're gonna have to see something, man. We're gonna see something. Look like they still in there arguing about Tannehill, man, and stuff like that, man.
And this is the thing. See, this is the thing, man. This is why it take y'all so long to catch up when I try to get y'all the game, man, because y'all misunderstand what I'm saying. I've never said that Tannehill is a stud or he's one of them ones. He's not a guy. My point is that Ryan Tannehill, this is the last time I say that, because I dog Miles comment, he said he's like Alex Smith. Now, that's Chop's former boy. I let that one go right now. But the point of what I'm saying is Ryan Tannehill is a microcosm of the majority of the league. 80% of the league's quarterback are Ryan Tannehill. It's a Rose by any other name. You know what I'm saying? And so if you don't have one of them ones, y'all know who the ones are. Big Josh, Patty, Tom, said touchdown Tommy, Josh Herbert, Joe Burrow. Did I say Aaron Rodgers still? If you don't have one of those, Lamar Jackson's, forgive me. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have one of them ones, if you don't have one of those guys that could truly separate and differentiate themselves from the majority of the league, where if everything 10 players go wrong, I can be the player that makes it right regardless. If you don't have one of them, you got a Ryan Tannehill, bro. Like, you have Ryan Tannehill, you got Baker Mayfield, you got Kirk Cousins, you got Alex Smith, you've got Carson Wentz, you've got right now Tua Tagovailoa. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have one of the ones, that's who you got. You've got Tannehill. And then that's 80%, right? And so then there's the bottom of the league. So there's 80% in the middle, that's Tannehill. There's those cream of the crop guys at the top of the list, at the top of the mountain. And then there's bottom tier guys. Then you've got Drew Lock, you've got Geno Smith, you've got Jacoby Brissett. You've got obvious teams that are in the market for drafting a quarterback. So if you you're either looking to draft a young guy, you've got those cream of the crop, or everybody else is Ryan Tannehill. So that's when I say that Ryan Tannehill is a capable starter, because the league is made up of Ryan Tannehill starters, bro. Y'all got, come on, man. Y'all better than this, man. Come on, man. Y'all got to catch up, man. What I'm laying, you got to catch up to what I'm saying. It's not that he's great, but everybody has a Ryan Tannehill. There's more Ryan Tannehills in this league than Big Josh's, than Lamar's. The league is made up of Ryan Tannehill, so we can't say that he's not a competent starter, bro. Come on, man.
All right, Willie Jack. Well, let's move on, man. Let's keep on going. We got Detroit at Minnesota, man. Who you got this one, man?
Oh, my fault. Detroit, Minnesota. Man, you know what, man? I went back and forth with this one, man. And this is another one where I really Detroit's got something. Detroit's got something. You know what I'm saying? I keep telling y'all week over week, man. Shout out to Chop. The more I see it, the more I see it Swift, man, the more I love that boy. I'm telling you, he's looking just super explosive, super shifty. He's got better vision than I probably would have. Or I see some runs in the last week's game where it's like, man, he looks to just be a full package guy. And so I like what they got going on. Amon-Ra St. Brown is proving himself to be a very dependable and reliable target in the passing game. Jared Goff and him are finding each other frequently and often. You still got Jamal Williams as the counterpoint to Swift. That offensive line is pretty decent. That defense is scrappy. Got a lot of young guys making splash plays. So there's so much about Detroit that I like. But I can't, man. Jettas can't lose twice in a week, man. I think they got a rebound. They got the pause put on them last week by Philly, man. And you know what I'm saying? Justin Jettas, man, for the first time, probably somebody on the defense side got the best of him, so he's ready to shake that off. I don't know who in the Detroit secondary is going to stick him. Jeff Okudah ain't up to the task. Ruka Wari, something like that, the other corner. I don't think he's up to it, man. So I think this may be a good rebound game for Minnesota. Now, not in the fact that they rebound against a bum. I'm not saying that, but I think this is more so it's a good contender fight. You know what I'm saying? When you got a prospect who's a boxer, you want to bring him up the ranks, so you want to get him tested in a winnable match, and I think this is what this is for Minnesota. Detroit's going to make you earn it, but you get to go out there, have a hard-fought victory, and kind of use that to get yourself back on track, man. So I'm taking Minnesota, and I think a close one, and when points get scored, I'm going 30-27 Minnesota at the crib.
That's crazy. I got 30-24 in this game, and I got Minnesota as well, Willie Jack.
Okay.
I'm going there as well. Vikings coming off a terrible loss in primetime. But I don't know if you've been paying attention to the history in primetime games when Kirk Cousins is playing. primetime player. This one, he's game. Everybody else playing too. You know what I'm saying? It's not all eyes on him. So I don't know what it is, and maybe I'm just making it up. Maybe that's just a thing that's not really a thing. But at the same time, I do feel like how you feel. I don't think 2 games in a row we're gonna see that same Kirk Cousins performance. I think that coaching staffs get back to the drawing board and they get something cooked up against the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, the defense is not all that good. You know what I'm saying? They do got a couple good pieces of Aiden Hutchinson and Malcolm Rodriguez, man. Malcolm Rodriguez is playing some good ball. Worked his way up as a starter, highest graded rookie according to PFF, after last week, man. So he's playing some really, really good ball. Also, you mentioned, Jeffrey Okudah. Now, he's not playing top corner ball, but he is coming along. He's starting to play a lot better than when he came into the league. When he came into the league, he was barbecue chicken. Quarterbacks was looking over there. Oh, it's man. Oh, it's Okudah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was barbecue chicken. You know what I'm saying? It was finger licking over there. You know what I'm saying? But now he's playing a lot better ball. He's playing a lot more discipline. He's playing with a lot more energy. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's putting in a lot of extra work. He's getting in there and making some good tackles. He's playing some pretty good ball. Now, like I said, overall, the Detroit defense is not enough. I don't think they're going to be enough for this particular offense. And I actually think this is the first game, and this is your boy, Willie Jack. We talk about Swift a lot. Swift is dangerous, but we're going to see a Dalvin Cook game this game. Expect to see a lot of
Dalvin Cook. Yeah, you're right. Good call.
He's due. You know what I'm saying? After the first 2 weeks, he hasn't been made a lot of noise. He's healthy still. So it's Dalvin Cook time, man. And actually, while we're here, I'm gonna go ahead and call it right now, y'all. This is my performer of the week. He is going to be the guy. Yeah, Dalvin Cook is my performer of the week. He is going to be the guy to get the Minnesota Vikings, help get the Minnesota Vikings over the hump. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be involved a little bit in the passing game, but mostly in the run game, man. I expect him to rush for at least a buck. I say I'm going out on a limb. $150, $150, 2 rushing touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna get a few catches out of the backfield as well, man. He's gonna have a pretty good game. Justin Jefferson is gonna be business as usual. If he gets over 100 yards, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But Dalvin Cook is gonna be the story of this game. I expect both of them to have solid games, but Dalvin Cook is gonna be the story. So yeah, like I said, I got the Vikings, man, winning this one 30-24. 30-24 is my final score in that particular game.
Okay. No, yeah, I like it. I like what you did there, man. Yeah, good call. I hope you're right, bro. Dalvin Cook, bro. I just like watching him run as well. Boy, is smooth. Great vision, man. I'm telling y'all, boy, y'all got it, man. That boy's smooth, man.
You've been talking about his vision for a minute, man.
Bro, I'm telling he glides between reading. It just looks like he's just sliding, bro. And that boy's smooth, man. I like it.
Got a couple comments in here. Miles says he got the Vikings as well. But he's just saying Goff is playing with the Detroit chip. Yeah, man, he is, man. And we talked about this a little bit too. I said that, with us, Goff was still 25. I'm gonna be under 25 playing in the Super Bowl, man. He was still growing, still learning. So now he's becoming more of that veteran QB, man, that you can really rely on. So he's playing some really good ball. You know what I'm saying? I like to see him succeed right now. So yeah, we had a couple of comments, talking a little bit about that. All right. Next game, man. Mm-hmm. Next game, we got Baltimore traveling to New England to take on the Patriots, man. And of course, I got Baltimore. I'm gonna go ahead and say it off the jump. I got Baltimore winning this game. Baltimore coming off a bad loss to the Dolphins, man. Blue coverages that cost them the game. Struggle with short yardage situations. But I say all that to say they were up a lot and they scored a lot of points. Lamar Jackson, Willie Jack, you said this again. Lamar Jackson right now is playing at an MVP level. You know what I'm saying? And I think we'll be talking a little bit more about that right now if they didn't blow this game. We'll be talking about Lamar Jackson and how good he's playing and how he's, carrying this offense, throwing the ball more than he has been before, but still being able to, get out of that pocket and do the things with his legs that we used to seeing. Also for Baltimore, we expect J.K. Dobbins is going to be back this week. J.K. Dobbins is going to be a part of that run game. So I'm excited to see him, man. Got him on a couple of fantasy teams. So I'm waiting to see what he's going to look like. But for New England, man, I think they just got a W given to them last week, against the Steelers. The Steelers made some crucial mistakes, at crucial periods. And what the New England Patriots did was just let the Steelers beat themselves. They just went out there, didn't make mistakes, and just let the Steelers beat themselves. And they made a couple plays. I got to give it to Nelson Aguilar. He did go up and make that play too, you know what I'm saying, to score that touchdown. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, I think that they didn't go out there and really earn that W. Steelers kind of gave it up, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think they're going to be able to do that against this game. You're not just going to be able to play all conservative and not do anything and still come away with a W. You got to go out there and play. You got to, you know, we talk about the onions again. You got the New England Patriots. They got to go out there and let them hang and go win this game, man. So yeah, I'm anxious to see what they do, but I got Baltimore winning this game. New England's defense is still pretty strong, so I'll go a lower score in this game. I go 24-13 is my final score of this game.
Okay, and honestly, man, you pretty much. I had the same score. Baltimore 24 and New England 13, and for the same reason. For one, I guess historically, for what that's worth, Baltimore generally always plays New England well. Now, this is Tom Brady's Patriots. You know what I'm saying? They Baltimore just always tend to play them well, and so they match up a lot of what they like to do. New England is also, and we don't necessarily talk about this or think about this because for so long, Tom Brady just came to the forefront when you think about New England. But the way they like to build their team, it is kind of similar to Baltimore because New England tends to want to rely on being bigger and stronger and not necessarily play so much into the speed, being faster. So just like where Baltimore's defense, like their linebackers, they'll put a guy at outside linebacker and he weighs 280 pounds. He's a stand-up 3-4 outside linebacker in Baltimore. Whereas in a place like Pittsburgh, outside linebackers are about 250. A guy like T.J. Watt. You know, they've got Pernell McPhee and Terrell Suggs, you know what I'm saying, in Baltimore, like guys that size. And in New England, for a lot of their years as well, they've also built their team kind of similar. And so they want they want big size and strength to kind of clog up the interior lanes and the edges. And so they kind of tend to play that way as well. And so, like I said, I think that's always kind of played well into Baltimore's wheelhouse as well. But now, of course, we've got Mac Jones instead of touchdown Tommy. And then we've got Nelson Aguilar, who looked like damn Randy Moss last week, but he'll fall back down to earth. He'll fall back down to earth in this one, man. I think, like I said, Baltimore, they let one get away. It's unfathomable that Baltimore would concede a more than 20-point lead in the second half of the game. Just like I said, with the pedigree of that team and that defense. But like I said, I think they get to come out, take some of the lumps out against New England. I think New England just being New England, just like Chop said, they're not going to do too much to beat themselves. Baltimore still have to go and earn it, but it's just not going to be much resistance or much that New England can fire back in this game. And so, yeah, I also have Baltimore winning 24-13.
Gotcha. And then somebody went in there and asked, man, is Marlin Humphrey playing today, man? He is, right now he's showing still questionable for I think there might be Dubs. I think there's Dubs in the
No, show me vision. I think that's Johnny.
Oh, that's Johnny. Okay, cool. My
Johnny,
bad.
what's going on, big dog?
Sorry about that, sir. But yeah, I think he's still questionable as of right now. So it'll probably be a game time decision. On what happens with that. Jarrell also commented in here. He said the Patriots are definitely slow the pace of the game down. You know, totally agree. They like to run the ball a lot. So I'm with you on that. But Willie Jack, man, I think it's about that time, man. I think it's time for us to pay a few bills, bro.
Hey, already, bro.
Already. The week, man.
Already. Now let me get my notes together here, big dog.
Because
on this monumentous Sunday morning, you feel me? Today's episode of Chopping Willie in the Morning, put on to you by the good brothers that let the film speak. Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. Today's episode of Chopping Willie in the Morning is brought to you by our good friends, man, our good buddies, Prospect and Precision Painting, man. So Prospect Precision Painting, they're an Atlanta-based painting and drywall repair company. Now they do travel as well, so they can come to a town near you. Ain't nothing but an internet or phone call away. They can be found at proprecisionpaint.com. They are available on Facebook and Instagram as well at Prospect Precision Paint LLC. And one more time, man, so that's interior painting, that's commercial painting, that is drywall home repair as well. Like I said, based out of the Atlanta area, but they do travel as well. So go ahead, tap in, man. I can tell you they do great work. By association, I've had some work done. Some friends and family member of mine down in Atlanta, man, super impressed. Professionalism, quality service, man, was on time. Not only on time getting there, but on time leaving as well. So if you've ever done home renovation work, a quick aside, it could quickly be a money pit, man. Don't get fooled. Guy quote you one price and tell you he'll be out there in 4 hours. And 6 hours later, he needed $300 more because he didn't have a right tool of supply. And so, man, I'm telling you, man, it's hard to get good work. And yeah, so tap in. Atlanta based. They do travel. One more time on the website, man. ProPrecisionPaint.com. Found on Instagram and Facebook at Prospect Precision Paint LLC. And one more time, man, that's interior, that's commercial, that's drywall home repair, man. So any and everything, no job too big or too small. Tap in, man. Do good business get done back to you. So, hey, there it is, man. We appreciate the guys at Prospect Precision Painting. One more time for the one time, man. Prospect Precision Painting. Tap in. Like I said, man, the general in the area, and they do spread around. In addition to the good brothers at Pro Precision Painting, you know that the home team's still in the building, man. That's the three amigos, man. Like, share, and subscribe. 3-piece spicy, man. 3 the hard way. Ain't never failed. We are here officially at the YouTube. Come inside, ring the bell, come up to the loft, come up to the player penthouse, sit down comfortable, relax. We got cold refreshments, we got warm meals, man. Kick it with your dogs. And now back to the regularly scheduled program.
For sure. Meanwhile, man, while we was doing that, while we was paying a few bills, we had a couple people roll into the building. We had my dog Reggie. Reggie, what's happening with you, bro? Appreciate you.
What's the word?
Also had wifey. She came on in, man. What's going on, boo? Hey, baby. How you living?
Listen to building. What's going on?
I see you soon, baby girl. No, man. But on to the next game, man. We had Cincinnati, man. They going to New York to take on the Jets. I got Cincinnati over New York in this one, man. Cincinnati over New York. Another alley game, man. Another alley game for Cincinnati, man. Backs against the wall. They need to come out swinging, man. They need to come out swinging. They got a winnable game this week, but they had winnable games the first 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But they have to win this one. Yeah, the schedule's only going to get tougher from here on out, but they got to go out there and show their worth, man, and come win this game, man. And so I got Cincinnati. I think they're going to be able to do it. Like I said, they coming off 2 bad losses. The defense actually hasn't been playing that bad, man. They actually they're ranked number 7 in yards per game given up. So they hasn't been playing terrible, but the offense needs to pick it up, man. Burrow, I'm just going to say he's been playing some bad football. We all stamped him a little early saying, hey, man, he's that guy. Man, he's going to be the next guy. I don't know, man. He's starting to he's trying to play his way out of that, man. But I got faith in him still. He's still done a little bit more than a lot of the other players. So I feel like Burrow's going to get it together. But he just has to eliminate those mistakes. And the offensive line has to play better. But Burrow has to help out his offensive line too, man. Get rid of the ball, make your reads, man, and help that offensive line out. You know what I'm saying? It's not all on when it comes to those sacks, man. Sacks are not always the offensive line stat, man. That's a QB stat too. You know what I'm saying? QBs hurt that a lot. So they need to go ahead and get it together, man. For the Jets, man, they came away with a W last week against the Browns, man, and a great performance by your boy Joe Flacco. Willie told y'all in the last episode, man, he say Flacco looked like the old Flacco in that game, and yes, he did, man, hitting those young guys, or young guys was getting out there and getting it done. It's Garrett Wilson, and I want to see the matchup. You know, I'm excited about this matchup. I want to see Sauce and Chase. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Sauce and Chase. I want to see him match up against Chase each and every play. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I want to see it. I want to see Sauce get out there and go at Chase each and every play, and I want to see them duke it out, man. So I'm excited to see that. Sauce, young and up-and-coming corner, man, who I think is going to be really good in this particular league, and that's what I'm looking to see. But all in all, man, Burrow is a champion. You know what I'm saying? And I expect him to get back on track this particular week. So I got them winning this game 27-13.
27-13. And man, and I'm not gonna lie, you did well right there, Chop. I gotta tell you, man, you made a lot of good points and conversation points. And I like what you did, man. And it fits perfectly because it gives me the opportunity, man, to rebuttal on an aspect of the game I didn't think about. The quality, the play in Cincinnati. So it sounds like that you're putting most of them more that on Joe Burrow, and I'm thinking about that now, man. Well, week 1 was ugly. He ran into us, and then like I said, we were just ready to play, man. Tough. So we come out, we kind of catch him cold, so to say. He comes out and Minka jumps on the first pass of the game. It's a pick 6. And, you know what I'm saying? And then we just keep rolling. But I think I'm gonna go the other way in that. Outside of like very specific plays that have unfortunately been turnovers, it's funny how a guy like Burrow or a guy like Josh Herbert or a guy like Jameis Winston, they're which are guys with pretty good talent or whatever, but they just, the way luck has it, their bad plays are generally always get taxed by turnover, as opposed to a guy like Patrick Mahomes who may make a boneheaded throw, but his interceptions get dropped, or the defense, like it just, his don't always hit the stat sheet, so it's just funny to say that. But the reason I say is because I don't necessarily think that Joe Burrow's playing bad. I think he's had very specific bad plays, and then just they've been capitalized on. But it's like outside of like those very specific plays, I think he's still playing good ball, so to say. But like you said, when he's been bad, it's went as bad as it could go, and the other teams took the ball. The other thing I'll say is, when you spend $40 million to revamp an offensive line, they can't come out and give up 15 sacks between the first two games or something, or maybe it's 13 sacks within the first two games. And so I'm not going to put that on Joe Burrow. I think there are things that can be done to help that offensive line, but I don't think it's Joe Burrow getting the ball out of his hands. I think it's running the ball. That's what we haven't seen. We haven't seen them take a concerted effort and say, hold on, man, we know we got these. We know we got a Ferrari on the right. You know what I'm saying? We know we got a Tesla on the left. We know we have all these weapons, so we want to get out there and let them run. But I think they need to draw it back, get back to making defenses respect the balanced attack, because Joe Mixon is a capable back. He's a top 10 guy in this league. Sure. Finished top 5 in yardage last year, and so he's a guy that is equipped to handle a larger role in this offense for sure. And it feels too often that we're so excited to use Jamar Chase, we're so excited to use T. Higgins, to use Tyler Boyd, to use a combination of three, and to get cute and play action and try to get these guys for deep shot plays. And meanwhile, Joe Mixon's touches are really a hardcore secondary, a hardcore. It's like oh man, damn, let's give Joe one. And Joe ain't had one. Let's give Joe one. And I think they got to get away from that. It almost feels like their offense reminds me of Buffalo's last year, where Buffalo didn't have a dependent or constant run game, and so you were kind of forced into making Big Josh make all the plays in the air and on the ground. And so Cincinnati's is almost treating it like they don't have an all-pro caliber back in the backfield. Like, no, man, that new offensive line, you spent all that money, doesn't look like you got your money's worth. And so stop putting them in situations to show how bad they are. And now let's take some of that pressure off of them and off of Joe and run the ball. Let Joe Mixon run and get busy. And then there is some validity to the play action attempts. And now maybe you do kind of soften up these defenses for these shot plays that they're trying to force right now.
Well, let me help you out. Let me help you out too, Willie Jake, too. Like, they have to run the ball well. That's what they have to do. They have to run the ball well, because that first week they ran the ball. Joe Mixon had 27 carries. You know what I'm saying? He touched that ball 27 times for rushes. You know what I'm saying? In the second game, he just about had about 20 touches. So, but then they didn't go for anything. They didn't rush for a lot of yards, which lets me know, like it further lets me know, like, the offensive line is getting beat up. You know what I'm saying? The offensive line is getting beat up, because if you run it that many times, you should. Okay, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna go a little bit into let the film speak as of right now. If you're running the ball right, if you're running the ball well, that's going to force the defense to either do one thing. Two things. They're gonna make some adjustments, or they're gonna allow you to do what you do without bringing an extra man in the box, or they're going to bring an extra man in the box. Okay, if they bring an extra man in the box, then you open up a little bit more of that passing game. Okay, or when you start to do that play action, you actually are holding the linebackers. But if your run game is not working against the base defense, you're not going to hold those linebackers. You're not going to hold those safeties when you go and do a play action. They're just going to play it smart, play it safe, and they're going to be in positions that they need to be in versus the positions that they would be in if the play action actually worked. Okay, so I feel like they have to run the ball well. And also, the other point I was going to make too, I wasn't putting it all on Burrow, but I'm not putting it all on the offensive line. I think it's a combination. You know what I'm saying? The offensive line is not playing well, but Burrow is not either. You know what I mean? Burrow is making those bonehead mistakes, you know what I'm saying, that we talked about. And yes, they are costing them. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. I guess like you said, and you make a good point. And I guess what I'm saying as far as the way in which we run the ball, and I think a lot of this was what I felt about Miles Sanders last year in Philly. I don't think the problem that Miles Sanders can't run or wasn't a competent runner, but it was the way they get him the touches. And so Joe Mixon is getting a lot of carries. A lot of them are coming in, like, let's say like Joe Mixon may get, let's say if he gets 18 let's say he gets 18 carries. And so 8 of those may be runs out of predominantly like passing facades. And so it may be 4 wide. It may be 2 and 2. And so there's no fullback, no tight end. And then he gets a zone, an inside zone carry again in this front. And so when you hear that rationale or that grouping, you would think that it should be a light box and able to run. And even if it is, but it's still not. I want to see 12 personnel. That's what I should say. I want to see 12 personnel runs. I want to see 21 personnel runs. I don't want it to be any frills or you know what I'm saying, or the illusion of anything other than no, we're making a concerted effort to get out here and run the ball. I want to see who's buddy the tight end now. I can't think of his name, but I like, you know what I'm saying, I want to see real deal running formations. And because Layout Collins in his time in Dallas, he improved and came a long way as a pass protector, but he was a guy, he was a hog. Like, he's a guy, let him fire off and get in somebody's chest and drive block someone. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see dedicated B gap powers. You know what I'm saying? Or like zones that go right off the ass of Lael Collins. You know what I'm saying? Let him not worry about nothing but just driving his guy out the way. Like, I want to see that style of running to help really make an emphasis, and that's the way I think to really kind of turn the tide and get things to soften up. Because running out of like a 3 wide receiver set, which because they have 3 stud receivers, and so running out of those sets, it's not where the opportunities are there, like Chopper saying, like, because 27 touches. Now, he had some success in spots against Pittsburgh, but now mind you, also, especially at full strength, Pittsburgh is a top 5 front 7 in the league.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And Minka is probably one of the most secure tacklers in the back end in this league as well. Nick Chubb got away from one, kicked his leg out of a tackle, and it may have been the first missed tackle Minka's had in like 2 seasons. You know what I'm saying? So like our front 7 is pretty stout. Same thing with Dallas as well. Like I said, that front is where you've got DeMarcus Lawrence. That's where you've got Michael Parsons. They've got big bodies, even though we don't know their names as far as the rest of that line is concerned. And you know what I'm saying? So they still got guys that could get after it. But like I said, this week, who is this week again? I'm saying, yeah, the Jets. And so the Jets, I would think this is a game that they can get back to real deal running the football. And I think this is an opportunity, but don't be cute about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't dress it up. Don't do all the don't run. If you're gonna run, go run. I want to see, you know what I'm saying, Bill Parcells come out there and, you know what I'm saying, with the horses, and we hitting somebody in the mouth, we come out the line and we come, like, I want to see that style of run, because I think that is what can really take pressure off that O-line. And then also it may help give them confidence if they actually get to kind of start having some solid success, moving people out the way, and then that confidence, when you feel good, you play good, period. And so if now they get to build that style of confidence going forward, then maybe it does spark an improvement in the pass game. But if they come out passing cold out the gate and you already give up 2 sacks in the first 5 plays, well, now the O-line's in their own head because they playing terrible, and now nothing's working.
I got you. I feel you on that. So we'll see what they're gonna look like today, man. But this is definitely one of those alley games. They need to win. They got
to have one. And this against an opponent that is as well as they played to still won last week. You've got to beat this team. If you're gonna be a contender, you got to beat this team. Just like Chop said, your back's against the wall. You got to come out swinging. You got to win this one if you're gonna be, or the rest of this AFC as the total is gonna run past you.
That's right. On to the next game, Willie Jack. Let's go to Washington, man, where the Commanders, they host the Eagles this particular week in a divisional matchup. Who you got in this game, Willie?
I'm taking Philly. I don't know if I give you a score on that last. I got 28-17 Cincinnati. But I'm taking Philly. Yeah, I'm taking Philly on the road. And like I said, man, Philly, unless Philly's going to be a team that unless they run into a real deal a real deal contender, which I don't think Washington is. So it's going to be, is this the week that Philly beats themselves? And I don't think so. Carson Wentz has been hot and cold. When he's playing well, he's made some dynamic throws, and then on the throws he's off, they normally turn into turnovers. And so I expect Philly to get the job done here. Washington's defense, like I said, we know a lot of the names. We ain't seen a lot of them down faces. I don't know where they at a lot of the time. And so they still have yet to play to the level that we expect just when we hear the names of those guys over there. But I expect Philly to roll, man. I'm not going to say roll because I think this is a game playing at home. Scary Terry, he still hasn't really made his real announced like he still hasn't really got himself going this year in the league. Jahan Dotson, the rookie, they brought over out of Penn State. He's been playing well. Playing well. So Scary Terry's still due for one. And so now seeing Darius Slay come off his matchup with Justin Jefferson in a matchup you would say he won. And so now he's gets to line up against Scary Terry and maybe get some spot duty on Jahan Dotson as well. So I want to see how that goes. He carry over that momentum. Does last week spark all pray for him? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that the catalyst that just gets him going this year and he maintains that level of play, man, and finishes as an all pro? And so there's an interesting matchup there. And then, like I said, just Philly, that machine on offense, man. Just love the moves they made. I always said that. Shout out to Real Deal. Shout out to Show Me Vision Entertainment. Our boy Johnny in the chat, man. Eagles defense is nasty. Shout out to Day One Game Jarrell, man. I know he's a big Eagles fan, so I expect them boys to fly today. And give me the Philadelphia Eagles on the road. I'm gonna give them a full. No, I'm gonna give them some field goal. I'm gonna go 34-23. I think this one's close in spots, and I think eventually Philly either capitalizes on the Wentz turnover and maybe gets one on defense or gets favorable position. I think they kind of stretch it out.
Gotcha. Jarrell, you about to lead me right into what I'm about to say, man. Jarrell says MVP Hurts from the ball. This is a divisional game that's always close, but we will still give them crazy work. I totally agree with you, Willie. Not Willie Jack. I'm sorry. I agree with you, Jarrell. Not on the MVP. That's not what I agree with you on. Let that be clear. But I do agree with you that Philly is going to come in here and give Washington crazy work. Now,
right now, tell me the three for week 3 in the league. Give me the 3 MVP runners right now, because I don't think you just blow off Jalen Hurts like that. I think maybe he gets consideration.
No, I'm not blowing him off, but I'm saying he's in there running right now. I'm just saying towards the end of the year, I don't think he's going to be there. But yes, he's one of those names. Josh Allen is one of those names, and I'll actually go ahead and do. I say Pat Mahomes. I throw Pat Mahomes in there. Okay. He'll be my third guy. Those are my 3 MVP top runners right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's a couple other names you probably can throw in there too, but those are my guys right now. But let me start this off by saying this, Jarrell. All right. I apologize, sir. You know what I'm saying? I apologize. And to all the Eagles fans, I apologize. You know what I'm saying? And I want to go ahead and retract my statement, because this is what I do. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I'm right. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to hear about it either way. In this particular situation, it looks like I'm going to be wrong before the season. My bold prediction was Hurts was not going to be a start after week 6. You know what I'm saying? Going into this season. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, y'all knew that was wrong when Willie told y'all in the first part. As soon as he said that, I told y'all he was crazy.
Hey, man, let me get my apology off. All right, man. Anybody ask you to join in on my apology? Let me get my rocks off. All right. But I said all that to say, man, I apologize. It looked like this boy is going to be there for the full season. It looked like the Eagles right now are playing some of the best ball, maybe the best team in the NFC right now. Actually, they are the best team in the NFC right now. Mm-hmm. I don't see anybody being better than them at this moment. And Hurts is playing some good ball. And I'm gonna say this about Hurts, man. This is one thing that I have noticed about him last year a little bit, but this year for sure, like, it's something special that he has in terms of his ability to run out of the pocket and make plays with his feet. He isn't the fastest, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't have Lamar Jackson speed or anything like that. And in fact, I wouldn't even say that he's overly faster than a Herbert or a Josh Allen or players like that. I wouldn't say that just straight speed, he's like overly faster than those guys. But it's something that he has to where it doesn't even matter. He's always able to get out the pocket, create more time for himself, and extend plays. And if you can do that consistently as a quarterback, man, that makes you dangerous, because as a former DB, no DB in this league wants to be covering for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds on a play. I mean, I asked the Raiders and their DBs, you know, so when they had to cover against Kyler Murray and those guys for as long as he was scrambling, I asked them about it. No DB wants to cover that long on any particular play, and that just makes things harder on a defense, especially when you got everybody covered, and then all of a sudden, boom, he finds a seam, he rushes for about 10, 15 yards, gets a first down, and then boom, on to the next play. You know what I'm saying? He has a special skill and a special ability to be able to do that, and he does it probably better than anybody in the league. I would say that, you know, as far as it's just pure ability to off schedule runs. You know what I'm saying? He's the best at it in the league right now. And I think it doesn't stop here. He continues to play well. And the Philadelphia go on to win this game 30-20. As far as everything else you said, Willie Jack, I really agree with you. But one thing I can say is that Eagles secondary is going to get tested. I'm not ready to say the Eagles defense is nasty because of that first week they was getting towed up by Detroit.
Now they still gave us some points now. Yeah, they're still
giving up points. But this is going to be a test for him because Carson Wentz, like I said, he's going to push that ball. He's going to make that offense look entertaining, you know what I'm saying, and try some shot plays. So I'm looking forward to seeing this game because I think this game could be entertaining as well, man. So
a couple good comments, man, from some of the dogs in the chat, man. Our dog Johnny, man, Show Me Vision Entertainment. He brought to or reminded us that this is a revenge game for Carson Wentz, of course, going back and playing the team. And playing, it's in Washington. Okay, so Philly's coming to his new house, man. So the place where he had first made a name for himself before things ended so badly. So he's got some motivation is there as well. Our other dog Tom, man, he also made a comment for the same thing, man. Wentz looking to put on a show. Like I said, this one is probably still a little personal for him. And so good comments from our dogs, man. And like I said, that's what I was thinking. Like I think that this one is pretty competitive, especially in the early going. I think there's a couple plays, namely probably mistakes by Wentz, I would anticipate, that kind of help to stretch this one out. Our dog Johnny, man, for Show Me Vision Entertainment, he also said, is this A.J. Brown finally get his first touchdown as an Eagle? And that's what I was telling Johnny, like, man, it feels like he scored. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that offense has been running, and then he's made some highlight-worthy plays. And so, honestly, until he just pointed it out, like in my mind, I just assumed he's had 2 touchdowns this year, and he hasn't. But if he hasn't had one yet, then damn sure he definitely gets one today, man. So get AJ Brown in the paint, man. So I would think so.
Gotcha. On to the next one, Willie Jack. We got New Orleans going to Carolina to take on the Panthers. And I'm just going to say, man, I got New Orleans over Carolina. They win in this game 24-10, man. Carolina is another team that's struggling on offense, man. They can't find any balance or rhythm. It looks like McCaffrey is still trying to find his place in this particular offense. Now, he did have a solid game last week, and due to a long run that he had at one point in this game, that kind of helped his totals out. But he's not getting that same volume he's used to getting with the catches out of the backfield and things like that. So they haven't found any rhythm with that. And my dog Willie Jack told you, hashtag Willie told you, this is most likely the last year for Matt Rule. And if they keep playing this way, man, hey, Willie Jack might be right, man. I might be on board with him with that one. He might be right. They need to get it together and play a little bit better. As far as the Saints, man, the Saints offensive line will protect. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to open up lanes to run that ball. They opened up a lot of lanes last week against the Tampa Bay Bucks, in which Ingram was just a little bit on the other side. You know what I'm saying? He's out of his prime. He doesn't run the ball the same way he used to. But Saints been opening up some run lanes, and their offensive line has really been doing a good job of protecting Winston. And I think they go into this week doing the same exact thing, which is going to bode well for them. Also expect Alvin Kamara to be back this game. They are expecting him to play today, so that's going to be huge for them, not only in the run game, but also, in the passing game as well. And then other than that, I expect the Saints defense to smother the Panthers. I don't think they'll give them much room, give them much opportunity. That's why I got the Saints winning this game 24-10.
No, and honestly, man, I think you summarized it pretty good. My score is pretty similar as well. I've also got New Orleans at 24, but I've got Carolina at 17. But I think just speaking to the same points you just made, I think New Orleans' defense is definitely the difference maker in this one. And like I said, I think that defense just is going to be enough to overpower or overwhelm Carolina. And then, man, good comment from my dog Johnny, man. Show Me Vision Entertainment in the building, man. He said they got to set McCaffrey loose. And man, and I completely agree, man. And it's one of those things where I think he's been so injured and so banged up, and they know how valuable he is, that I think they have made a specific effort to put him on a pitch count, so to say. And so I think it's been it's not just pure. There's a method to the madness. I think they're trying to get him going at a concerted pace, as opposed to just full-fledged dumping everything on him and then maybe risking losing him again. But I'm with you, man. I'm ready to see CMC get back in his bag, man. So like I said, y'all know how I feel about CMC, man. So I'll leave it at that, man. But he's just a super, just on both sides of the ball, man. There's just not many guys that could consistently give you that type of production from both sides and being the whole folk, man. I mean, I just like kind of what he is and what he's done there. Like I said, when he is able to be on the field. Another question for Show Me, man. He said, "Is Mike Thomas back?" I haven't heard about him being out. Is he out this game, Chop?
No, he's saying, is he back? Like, is he back to his form? Is he back to
form?
Okay. I think that's why he was asking that.
Okay, it may be a little soon to just say full fledged, but he looked good in spots, man. So what was it? The not the Tampa Bay game. Who they played before the Atlanta game against AJ Terrell. When that offense got going in the second half, man, he was 1-on-1 with AJ Terrell and made plays on both of them. One of them being a touchdown. I know one of them specifically being a touchdown on the left end zone.
Fade balls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a back shoulder style of the ball. And like I said, on AJ Terrell, an all-pro corner, a young guy who's really kind of found his groove. And so, like I said, so he's when you're winning those style matchups, then like I said, it definitely trends that way. Now, is he full-fledged back to the guy that he was before he left? I mean, that's still yet to be seen. But a lot of that also is going to be dependent upon, if James can get him the ball, man, in those spots and allow him to, to be himself if he is all the way back. But
for sure. All right. Oh, and then Tom in here trolling, man. He in there messing.
No, come on, man. He went too far, man. I ain't say Baker was better than the Shine. Come on, man.
He here trolling you, dog. On to the next one, man. Let's move to this game, man. We got Jacksonville going to LA to take on the Chargers. Who you got in this one, Willie?
See, this one for me, man. Me and Chop were talking about it right before the show. Justin Herbert, man, it's still not definitive or whether or not he's gonna, I guess, play. They say he's considering whether or not he wants to get an injection for pain in between his rib cartilage, because we know he suffered a rib injury. And the significance of that is because, much like we talked about last Sunday as well, Tyrod Taylor had that same style injury, and he opted for the same style treatment so that he could play. A pain injection in between your ribs into the cartilage of your rib so that you can play or sustain play or, pain during the play. And it was during that attempted pain injection that his lung got punctured, and that it cost him that year and possibly cost it until he recovered. It wasn't sure if he was going to play football again. You know what I'm saying? So Justin Herbert has that same injury, that same medical staff that was there for Tyrod. That's still the medical staff used by the Chargers, and now they're prescribing that same treatment. So I'm not going to lie to you. I said this last week. If I'm Justin Herbert, this injury isn't been treated in-house. I'm not treating in-house with that doctor staff that I saw them puncture my former teammates' lung. I was here when you did it. You treat a sprained ankle, I get rolled up on, bro, sprained shoulder. All right, I'll fool with you. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm definitely not getting that procedure. We've seen y'all mess it up. I've seen firsthand. So if I'm getting that done, I'm going out of house. Now, it doesn't sound like he did, and he's weighing his options, whether or not he wants them to have that procedure done. I don't know if anything's been announced one way or the other, man, if that's been finalized. And so it makes it tough to choose. Now, the only thing is they are still a supremely talented team, and Jacksonville is going all the way from East Coast to West Coast. And so I still have to ride with the more talented team of the Chargers, but as far as calling the game for score wise, I'm just not sure who I've got pulling the trigger. I don't know if that's Justin or Josh Herbert or I don't know who the hell's the backup now. It's not Chase Daniels, or is it?
It is Chase Daniels.
Oh, it is Chase. Okay, it is
Chase Daniels. Been getting first team reps this particular week. Just
exactly.
In case
Yeah,
he's not able to go.
Exactly. And so let's say, I guess, if you got to be safe and assume it's going to be Chase Daniels, I'm still going to take the Chargers. I'm still going to take the Chargers in this one, but the score is probably going to be a lot more conservative than it would have been. I'm going to go 26. And Jacksonville, to their credit, they've got something cooking with Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk. And so they've got something there. That defense, Trayvon Walker, he's playing well in spots as well. So he's making a couple plays. He's been around the quarterback a few times. And so they're a feisty bunch, I guess, as lame as that sounds to say. But I'm going to take the Chargers at home, assuming it's Chase Daniels. Give me 26-20. That's pretty decent point production with Justin Herbert being out, honestly. But yeah, I'm going to go 26-20 Chargers over Jacksonville.
Gotcha. And I got Chargers too, man, but I got a 24-9. I got 24-9 at final score. I'm really hoping that Herbert plays. If Herbert doesn't play, it's going to make me a little bit nervous. But as far as like what I just seen, Herbert is expected to make a decision during warmups, of the game today.
Yeah, I
So that's
agree.
when
Yeah.
that's when he's expected to make his decision on whether he's going to get the painkilling shot or not. So that's what they're looking forward to. Is Justin Herbert's warmups and seeing what he looks like, seeing what he feels like, and then he'll make the decision there. But overall, man, as far as everything else in this game, I do think Jacksonville surprised me last week with the shutout. You know what I'm saying? And I'm kind of confused on whether or not it was Jacksonville playing well or was it that the coach just playing
The
terrible?
coach playing
You know what I
so
mean?
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of confused on that, on what that was. I do, like I said last week, or like on our Wednesday show. If you don't know, Wednesday night, 7:00, tune in. Yeah, I probably already know, but
Y'all better know.
they better know at this point. But like I said, then the Doug Peterson and the scheme looked really good. But you going against one of the better defenses in the league this week. So whether Herbert plays or not, like I said, I'll feel a little bit more nervous with Chase Daniel playing, but I think the Chargers defense is going to be able to play well. You know what I'm saying? And I think what they did against Mahomes and the Chiefs last week is they forced Mahomes to improvise, in which Mahomes can do that. Mahomes is one of the top guys in the league, if not the top guy quarterback in this league. So when he improvised, he's still able to do his thing. If you think about the touchdowns that he had, the touchdown where he rolled out to the right, and threw a little sidearm ball to McKinnon for a touchdown. Then he scrambled up into the pocket and it was like on the run, running forward, a deep pass to, I forgot who the guy was, but it was a touchdown pass. You know what I'm saying? Those are the throws that they forced the Chiefs to make, or Mahomes to make, in order to beat them. And I think those are the type of plays that teams are going to have to make to beat the Chargers in the future. And I don't know if Lawrence will be able to make those same type of plays, which is why, regardless, I got the Chargers winning this game 24-9. 24-9 is my final score of this one.
Okay. No, I got you. Yeah, it sounds like we're on the same on the seeing this one the same for sure.
And Jarrell asked me. I'm a little bit more lenient too, Jarrell. If you want to change your pick before the game, go ahead. Be my guest. You know what I'm saying? Be my guest. You just better send it to me before the game start. You know what I'm saying? I'll make an exception for y'all if y'all want to make that change due to that particular injury, but you better get it in on time. If you don't get it in on time.
Man, look how soft Chop is, man. I hope Chop ain't this damn soft with my niece and nephew in that crib, man. Look. I know your mama said you can't have no more cookies. But if you get one real fast, I won't say nothing. Come on, man. Look, hey, I tell y'all what, boy, y'all better love Chop while you got him, boy. Y'all better thank Chop while y'all got him. It was almost me. And I told y'all, boy, hey, I didn't need mine by 11:59 midnight, and it was everything else it was too late. The money was spent. Boy, you fool with Willie. But hey, Chop is a nice guy, man. Y'all take advantage.
Hey, the only reason I'm gonna do it is because it ain't gonna matter anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be Chop at the top. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag Chop at the top.
Hashtag Chop at the top.
Hashtag Chop at the top. Look at Miles coming in. Miles say, man, no, it's set, man. It's set. Hey, man, it's one guy that make the rules around here. All right.
Talk about
it. Nah, man. Let's move on to the next game, Willie Jack. We got my LA Rams traveling to Arizona, man, to take on the Cardinals. I got the Rams in this one, man. In a closer game. I got 28-24 being a final score of this one. Another divisional matchup. Both teams coming off sloppy wins. Cardinals over the Raiders in OT. We've seen how that played out. It took Kyler Murray scrambling for 84 yards, you know what I'm saying, on a 2-yard touchdown,
man.
For them to take this game to OT and come away with this W. And then the Rams almost giving up a lead in the fourth, man. Making a lot of those mistakes and fumbling and punt blocks and things like that. It took for a late game interception for them to seal that deal. So both teams coming off some sloppy wins. I think the key for the Rams too, man, is clean up the offensive miscues. I told y'all last week, man, Stafford need to put the cup down. You know what I mean? He forces the ball to Cooper Kupp at times, man, and you got to lay off of that, man. You got to be able to go through your reads. You got enough weapons, and you got the scheme that's going to get people open all over the field. Just take what they give you. If you take what they give you, you're going to eat anyway. Now, 9 times out of 10, I get it. Kupp is going to be open. You know what I'm saying? That's just the nature of the game. That's the way they scheme him up. He's going to be open. The way he runs his routes, he's going to be reliable. That's going to be week in, week out. You know what I mean? And quiet as kept. We talking about best receiver in the league. Y'all better stop playing. This is about to be 2 years in a row. Might be another triple crown that we going to see. That's all I'm going to tell you. Put that out there right now. But moving on.
What was he talking about? I don't even know who he's talking about. Best receiver in the game ain't playing this game.
Okay, I hear you now.
Yeah.
But and also for the Rams, they're gonna have to contain Kyler. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to contain Kyler. Last game he brought back the key, man. It was just which was his legs and his ability to extend plays. So I expect Aaron Donald to come out and play big in this one. You know what I'm saying? And for the Cardinals, I think the Cardinals, their defense needs to improve on the back end. They're 28th in yards per game right now. They gave up 604 yards in the first 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So I expect the Rams to come out and light this defense up, with no problem at all. But the Cardinals are also going to have to try to establish James Conner if they're going to win this game. But did all that to say, it won't be enough. Rams come away with the W in this game. I think Stafford gets it together. This will be his first game of the year without an interception. And the Rams roll on offense. I think you see a little bit of everybody, a little bit of Higbee, a little bit of Cam Akers. I think he gets back going, and I think this offense rolls. But Kyler Murray being Kyler Murray, he's going to put up a few points as well. So I got 28-24 final score, Rams taking this W.
No, and I agree with a lot of what you said, man. So there's just I just don't have much of any faith at all in Cliff Kingsbury and in that offense. And so I think it's got to the point now to where Kyler, as dynamic as he is able to make what I've been saying, I guess, today, man, chicken salad out of chicken, you know what. And so, just like you said, it was evident last week, the two biggest plays of that game happened on scrambles in which he holds the ball for 12 seconds, runs 60 yards to score 2-yard touchdowns, and is able to pull them back into the game and then actually steal a win from the Raiders. And so this game, much like you said, man, the Rams, they should be as talented on offense and defense as needed to win this game without major issue. But like I said, the wild card being Kyler, does he make or extend a play that gets them a touchdown? Otherwise, that was probably a play that probably should result in an incompletion or a fourth down 4 seconds into the play, and then 8 seconds later, he scrambled around and made a run for 23 yards, or he scrambled around long enough and found one of his guys down the field for 20 yards and keeps the play going and maybe gets a touchdown that maybe otherwise shouldn't have happened or wouldn't have been there. But I still say all that to say, I do think the Rams, being defending champs, they still haven't, much like you said, kind of gotten back to that level. So you've got the week one beating you take from Buffalo. You've got the game where you come out and dominate. You get up 28-3 on the Falcons, and then what do? You win that game 31-27 on the strength of a Jalen Ramsey goal line interception. You know what I'm saying? And so these leagues haven't necessarily proven to be safe. They still haven't necessarily got back to the play or the level of play that they were. But I still do think they hang on and handle business here on the road. But I've got to score 27-20 Rams.
Gotcha. All right. On to the next one, Willie Jack. And I got Atlanta going to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. And I'm going to say I'm clueless about this game, Willie Jack. So I'm going to turn it over to you first, dog.
Hold on, what game you just said?
Seattle and Atlanta, man.
Wait, Atlanta's on the road at Seattle?
Yeah, Atlanta's on the road going to Seattle.
Bro, you want to hear something again, bro? I don't know how I didn't write that down, bro. But don't worry about it.
I got you. Don't even.
No, I was like, I was looking like, because I don't know, bro. ESPN's playing me, dog. It's the second week in a row. I'm getting the schedule, and I got somebody missing. But okay, so Atlanta on the road at Seattle. Oh, yeah, start us off.
I got you. So first and foremost, man, Seattle's coming off one of the worst performances in week 2. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to keep bringing it up and reminding y'all, you know what I'm saying, my conversation with Willie Jack, before that game. But, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, Seattle was coming off, man, the one of the worst performances in week 2. I mean, they scored 0 offensive points. Turned the ball over 3 times. The only touchdown came off of a blocked field goal that was returned for a touchdown. And so offensively, they didn't score. They had 10 penalties in this game, totaling over 100 yards. They were just awful, okay? And Atlanta, on the other side, they compete, and they fight, and they lost. They only lost by 1 in week 1 and then came down to that interception last week against the Rams and lost their game by 4 points. So Atlanta is going to compete each and every week. But I'm going with the home team. The reason why I'm going with the home team, because I don't think Seattle is as bad as we saw in week 2. I think they'll play somewhere in the middle or in between their week 1 great game against Denver. And then you see it too many times, a team coming off an emotional win, the next week, they kind of fall flat. It seems to be a trend in the league. If you notice, a team goes through one of those particular games, the next week, man, they kind of fall flat if they're not, really focused and getting back to the drawing board. So I think we'll see somewhere in between a team with Seattle. I think we'll see a lot of Rashad Penny in this game. I think we'll see some good connections between Geno Smith, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf. I think they'll have solid games. And right now, AJ Terrell is struggling, man. He is struggling. The first week, we already talked about him and his performance against Michael Thomas. Gave up a couple touchdowns. He gave up a touchdown last week to Allen Robinson, where he gave him a quick boom, boom at the line and created so much separation on the fade ball. You know what I'm saying? So it just won't get any easier for AJ Terrell, with these two guys matching up against Atlanta. The Atlanta's defense hasn't been very good against the run, and Pete Carroll, we know what he likes to do. He wanted to run the ball, and then on top of that, Atlanta's going to see that 12th man. So all that to say, I'm going Seattle in this game. I think we see a better Seattle than we saw last week, but it's going to be a close one. I got 24-23 being that final score, maybe a last-minute field goal to win a game for Seattle.
Okay. And I'm not going to lie, for some reason, I thought you might take your boy Mariota in this one. I thought you might take your boy Mariota because, like you said,
it was close. It was close. I went back and forth so many different times, man. But sometimes I got to get out of my head. Sometimes I got to get it out of my heart. Sometimes my heart be talking over my head.
Yeah, man,
not that I don't think Mariota is a competent quarterback. I still think he's a competent quarterback. But overall, man, this Atlanta team just I don't know about him. I want to see what's going on with Kyle Pitts today. Like, he is your guy. Use your guy. Like, I don't care what Drake London brings to the table, man. Like, Drake London is a solid receiver. Cool. But Kyle Pitts is your guy. And it's not like we haven't seen what he's capable of. It's not like he went out there and he's just, like, not showing up. No, he's showing up. He's the guy that you drafted, that you thought you drafted. But something's just missing. Something's not connecting with that. And that's what worries me. It worries me that is going on, and this is the week for them to show up too. Maybe last week he was shadowed by Jalen Ramsey, you know what I'm saying, the entire game. So maybe that was tough on him. That's a matchup for Jalen Ramsey, but this week you don't have no excuses, man. You got to go out there and ball, and I just don't know about this team, man. They don't have that much talent. I don't know. I just got Seattle in this game, and I think Seattle will play. They'll play a lot cleaner ball. Pete Carroll's gonna have this team ready to go, man.
No, and honestly, and I don't disagree with a lot of the things you said. Now, one thing I would say is I don't want to just completely discount or devalue Drake London because he was the first receiver drafted in the draft.
Sure.
He's a top 10. He was a top 10 pick. So I don't want us to say like, man, what are y'all doing? Overlook at Drake London and just need to feature more Kyle Pitts. First receiver, top 10 guy, so it makes sense that he gets his target share that he's getting. But on the other side of that, it doesn't mean that Kyle Pitts shouldn't be more involved. I think both things can be true without taking away from each other. But no, man, and this is what it came down to me on this one, is the way I thought that you might pick, because Atlanta, now the first week is New Orleans, and like I said, it's a rivalry game, division game, and so you can kind of throw everything out the window because they're going to play each other tough because there's,
that's just the name of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So you know each other. The second week with the Rams, like I said, the game is 28-3, the infamous 28-3. They'll never shake that. And if they finish that game and lose it on a goal line interception, like I said again, and lose that game by 4 points to the defending champs. So they've shown the propensity to stay in a lot of these games that they probably shouldn't or don't get credit for even being, I guess, competitive in. And like I said, are in position to win. And so seeing that and then seeing the way the bubble did pop in Seattle this last week off the high that Chop just told you about from coming in and putting them hands on Danger Russ in the Broncos. And so now it's like, I don't know who I have less faith in. Do I have less faith in the team that had an unbelievable high and then crashed back down so fast? Or how much faith do you really put into a team that's not super talented on either side of the ball, but somehow finds a way to stay competitive in each of those in each of those contests? And the decision for me came down to Seattle playing at home and having that 12th man. Seattle, if nothing else is going right, when those 12s are fired up, man, when the 12th man is fired up and going, life can be hell. And it was hell for a guy named Danger Russ Wilson, who was there for almost a decade, and you wouldn't have known it because they didn't show that boy no love. They didn't give him no quarter. They didn't pull no punches. They didn't cut him no slack. You know what I mean? So a guy like Dangerous, who for the first time been in that visitor locker room, they had 5-6 false starts and delay games in that game because that crowd could get itself in such a frenzy. And so they've got a game here. They got embarrassed a little bit last week. Jimmy G came in. The Niners rolled. Like I said, they get the one touchdown off of a special teams play. And so now I think they've got a team that Seattle's a team, kind of like a lot of these teams we talked about before. They're not going to realistically have an opportunity where they look at their schedule and say, okay, we can really go get this one. And I think this is that type of game and matchup with Atlanta that they see this and know, man, we can get this one. We got to capitalize because I don't know how many of these are going to be there for us. And so I think they can get themselves in some style of frenzy. And I think that 12 man, that home field, man, I think it will be a big factor in this. So I am going to take Seattle at home. And I've also got it a close one, man. I've got 23-21 Seattle. And like I said, I think more than anything, man, that defense and that crowd being the difference in this game. And then I'm sorry, what was your score? I think yours was, did you say 24-23?
24-23, yep. I got a one-score game. 1 point game. So got it a close one, man.
Yeah, we see it pretty much the same.
Right. All right, Willie Jack, man, let's go on to the Sunday night game, man, where we have San Francisco traveling to Denver. Willie Jack, what's your take on this one?
So this is a tough one for me, man. So you've got Jimmy G and the Niners now going on the road to Denver. Denver, it was ugly week 1. We actually just touched on that with the game in Seattle, but that was ugly for a lot of reasons. Week 2 was a little better. Still not great ball, but better. It wasn't just as porous as we saw in Seattle with all the factors going on there. That Denver defense is still playing well. Patrick Surtain is still like I said, showing why he was regarded the way he was. Bradley Chubb and those boys, Randy Gregory, they got after it a little bit this last week as well. And so this one, I still for myself, I don't have faith in that Denver team just yet. I just don't. I'm not at all a fan in the early going of what we've seen from Nathaniel Hackett. News came out, Chop, that they went out and hired a former coach with the Ravens to be his kind of like assistant head coach, and essentially a coach that's in his ear, helping him in key downs and distances and key timing situations, etc. Because he's this early into the season, like I said, it's only been 2 weeks, but he struggled in those areas, and so now they brought in some help there. But all those things give me reasons for why I can't trust that team just yet. And Dangerous hasn't shown him. He hasn't risen to the level that me and you give him credit for and anticipate. He hasn't been the difference maker to clean up a lot of the ills that we see on this team. And so this ain't the week to do it. I think San Francisco, with the tragedy of Trey Lance going down, fracturing an ankle, and being out all year, I really do think it's addition by subtraction. And I think as sad as it is to say, and I hate that I'm going to say this, in my mind, Chop, I'll be like, man, don't say it, Willie. You know better. But I'm going to say it anyway because I can't help myself. I think there was some style of relief knowing that you're going to have Jimmy G going forward, and unfortunately at the expense of a Trey Lance injury, because I do think, honestly, if everybody's going to be honest with themselves, if this was going to be a team to have a chance at competing, this is a team that was a game away and a quarter away from going to the Super Bowl last year with Jimmy G. And so he couldn't show up and put them over the edge in the spot where it really mattered, and they lose to the Rams, who eventually go on and win the Super Bowl. So this is the same team that came back from that last year. And so having Jimmy G back, Jimmy G getting to step away from that driver's seat and see and realize and have his own come to Jesus moment, and like, this team has been on the precipice of 2 Super Bowl championships. One that we went to the big game and I missed a butt naked Emmanuel Sanders for a touchdown that puts it away. And then 2, I just couldn't step up in the key moments in another game that would have sent us to the Super Bowl in another very winnable game against an on-fire Cincinnati Bengals team. And so I think now having had that discernment and the ability to kind of step out and see how quickly he was just going to be another random name in this league, I think Jimmy G's more motivated than anything as well to prove, because he's fighting now for the second half of his career. This guy spent the first half of his career as a backup. He had 2 or 3 good years, or 2 or 3 years as a starter, got injured for 2 of those, and then went to a Super Bowl and couldn't make the play to win it in that one long year. So this is going to tell us right now, does his career have a rebirth and a resurgence, like when Kirk Cousins left Washington and went to Minnesota and reestablished himself as a starter? Now, the quality of his starts is still a topic of discussion, but he is firmly cemented as a starter in the league. Does he go that route and find a new home and build on like Kirk Cousins? Or is he Marcus Mariota? Is he going to be a guy who's going to bounce around between the Las Vegas Rams. Bounce around to Atlanta, where you gotta play and start and still starts on just a super non-talented team as you wait for them to draft your replacement. You know what I mean? So like, which route is he going to go? And so I think he has all that and he's understanding of that. And like I said, I think flat out this San Francisco team is still one of the best constructed teams top to bottom. I love their coaching and Kyle Shanahan. I love the young guys they've got on that defensive hunt, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, the other linebacker, Greenlaw there as well. So I like their front seven a lot. Ken Law, the D tackle out of South Carolina. So I'm taking San Francisco. I said all that chopped. I'm sorry to say. I'm taking San Francisco on the road. And I'm going to go. I think Denver's defense, it does make this one, does keep them in this one and make it a fight. And so I don't think it's a completely ugly game, but I'm going to go 26-23 San Francisco on the road.
Gotcha. And those are all fair points, Willie Jack. Definitely some fair points and everything that you pointed out, and it gives me like reason as well and understanding of where you stand on this. But for me, I'm still gonna go with Denver, man. I'm going with Denver, and they win this game 27-23. And the reason why is because I think it's gonna be their defense. I think it's gonna be their defense that'll be able to slow the 49ers down. And I think some of those offensive issues will be fixed. Now, my reasoning behind this is because, I mean, it's still Jimmy G now. You know what I'm saying? Now, I understand that there is, and there's a feeling out there, you know, for people that people are giving. And, you know, when you listen to different reporters or, you know, just paying attention to the San Francisco 49ers team, there's a feeling out there that there is, like you said, there's just some sign of relief and they're happy and they know what you're getting with Jimmy G back there at QB. There was still a sense of, we don't know what we're getting with Trey Lance. But it's something about knowing is that can make a difference. You know what I'm saying? It's something about knowing exactly what you are getting yourselves into whenever you move forward and you know what you're getting from a specific guy. But knowing that, you also know that you'll get a Jimmy G that can turn that ball over. You know what I'm saying? That'll turn it over and make a few mistakes. So I think that Denver's defense is good enough to where they can force some of those mistakes. They can make a lot of those force a few of those turnovers and force some things to go their way. And I like you, Willie Jack. I do think that when they brought in Jerry Rossberg, I think that was a good move, man. I think it's I can get how you can see it on the other side of things, like you not trusting of the Denver Broncos and Nathaniel Hackett. But to me, I feels like it's more of a move where it's like, all right, I need to be self-aware about this situation. It's 2 games in a row, and I'm not about to let this situation slip by. He knows what he has in this particular team and what they're capable of. So it's like, let me just go ahead and bring in a capable guy that can help me out with these in-game decisions, you know, so that way we make sure we're on the same page, make sure we're putting ourselves in the best position possible to go out and win these games. You know, for those who don't know much about Jerry Rossberg, he came from the Baltimore Ravens, you know, back in 2018. He was their former special teams coordinator and assistant head coach of the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? So he comes from a winning organization, a team that, of course, over the years has been a lot of these tough situations and has came out on the winning side of them. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it was a good self-awareness move by the
credit for that. Yeah. No,
I think it'll make a big difference. And my gut feeling is that it'll make a big difference today. And if Denver gets in one of those situations today, I think they make a better decision. Now, if they don't, then it's trouble. It's time. Then I say it's time to hit that panic button for the Denver Broncos. But today we have to see that improvement, have to see them be better at decision making in certain points of this game. I think we do see that. So that's why I got Denver over San Francisco 27-23.
Denver 27-23.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
And then real quick, man, I want to give a shout out, man, to the Instagram. I just pinned it, man. Y'all can follow us on Instagram for sure, man. let_the_speak. So tap in with us there, man. So Chop, man, I didn't even tell you this. I went live during the podcast. So we're live on our Instagram page right now, man. And we've actually got a follower, man. So shout out to NFL with Dale, who joined our live on here, man. And he's got a comment hearing us talk about the Denver game. So I want to read it to him, man, here on the pod. So this is from NFL with Dale on Instagram, man. So I'm going to definitely tap in and check his page out, man. Appreciate you coming through and hollering at us, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate that.
For sure, man. So he says Denver will hopefully be like a fine wine this year. They're going to improve with time. Very well said, man. Very well said. There is going to be some bumps and bruises in this growing period for sure. But he continues and says, but I do think that there's more hope for optimism. Hackett is on the hot seat already, though. And so, hey, excellent comment, man. NFL with Dale on Instagram, man. Y'all check that boy out, man. I'm going to check him out. I'm going to check his page and his content out as well, man. So we appreciate the love, man. Shout out to you, sir. And I agree with everything he said, man. And I think Chop feels the same, man. It kind of reinforces some of the things that we've also said and some of the feelings that we've also had, man. So one more time, man, shout out to you, NFL with Dale.
Hey, and you know what? I just thought about something, Willie Jack, and I'm gonna put you on the spot on this one. Mm-hmm. So bringing in Jerry Rosburg, as I just thought about it, it just came to my head. Like I said, he's a former special teams and assistant head coach of the Ravens. Okay, I don't know who all they interviewed. That's something to look back into. But with him having some experience as an assistant head coach, do you feel like they brought him in the door to help out, and if things don't go well, they go from him to Rosburg in the middle of the season to save their season if it goes bad?
No, not a guy like Rosburg. Now, sometimes what ends up happening a lot of the times is that the assistant head coach title is normally, it's almost like an additional badge. So let's say, like, once you're an actual coordinator, there's no further, I guess, promotion from a coordinator unless you become the head coach, so to say. And so what I've seen around the league is that, let's say a guy may be the defensive coordinator for 4 years, and so his contract is up or whatever the case, and so he resigns or comes back as still defensive coordinator and assistant head coach, and then also there's additional compensation to go with the additional title. So normally it's been used more so as an additional badge for a tenured guy who's already been on the staff. And so but as far as in actuality, if for some reason Nathaniel Hackett loses his grip on this job mid-season, and I don't see how it'd have to go. I don't know how bad it had to be. I think that organization right now is in such a fragile state that I just don't know if they could survive the implosion that would happen if they struggle, let's say, and go 2-6 out the gate, and then you fire Nathaniel Hackett. And then, mind you had just spent $250 million on Russell Wilson, bringing him over there, and it still hasn't panned out. And now we're going to fire that coach. And we're on the fly trying to rebound and regroup. And so I don't see it. But if it did happen, Jerry Rosburg wouldn't be the guy. I would look that they would turn to some style of continuity with the players, because the players don't know this Jerry guy. He just got here yesterday. He came from Baltimore, and he's just a guy that's going to sit in the booth and be in the coach's ear like, hey, man, don't forget you got 2 timeouts here with 1:30 left. Or, hey, coach, we've got 3rd and 1 here. Or he's just kind of in the coach's ear, picking up on things that the coach, because he has so many other things on his mind that he maybe just can't keep all compartmentalized. But I would expect if Nathaniel Hackett does get moved, it wouldn't be this guy. It'd be the OC or the DC that would probably take over, honestly, in my point. But also, it's a good thought, though. Now, I think that's different than a guy, because that's Jerry Rosburg. He hasn't necessarily made his name. I didn't know his name before now. You know what I'm saying? Now, he's not the same as – now, let's say if Brian Flores didn't go to the Steelers, and instead if Brian Flores not got brought in. Now, Brian Flores is a threat to that job now. He was a damn good coach in Miami before everything imploded and fell apart there. And so now if you do make that move and you bring in Brian Flores, well, then you would say that Brian Flores – most people would think Brian Flores is a more capable and talented coach as a prospect than Nathaniel Hackett is anyway. So that's even an upgrade. That's, I think, a direct threat to his job per se if he doesn't straighten up. But not a guy like Jerry Rosburg, no. Or Rosebud. My bad. He wore purple anyway, so I ain't too concerned about him. You know?
Okay, I got you. All right, Willie Jack, man. We're on to our Monday night game, man. And this is a game I'm actually excited about, man. We got another divisional game. We got the Dallas Cowboys going to New York to take on the Giants, man. And first and foremost, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I got the Giants winning this game over Dallas, 20-17. All right. We're just kind of talking to y'all about emotional games, right? And I think that's what Dallas had last week, man. Dallas had that emotional game last week, in my opinion, where they rallied behind a Cooper Rush who actually played pretty well in that particular game. And they rallied behind him, you know what I'm saying? The team came together, you know, and they pulled together one, you know, but I don't think it's something that's gonna hold. You know, I don't think this is a situation that's gonna hold for them. It's a rough situation. Of course, they without Dak Prescott for a few weeks, and I don't think Cooper Rush is going to continue to get it done, what I'm saying, week after week, in this particular offense. For the Giants, man, the Giants, like I said, I've been talking a lot about it, man. They're well coached. They're well coached. I think they're going to be well prepared for this particular game. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen on the defensive side of the ball. Now, Williams is probably going to be out this game, which is it'll be a big loss for them. But we may see the first game for Kayvon Thibodeau as well as Azeez Ojulari. Now, both of them have been out the first 2 weeks due to injuries, but we may see the coming out party for those two guys. If those two guys play, I think they make a huge difference, especially with a banged up Dallas offensive line. So I want to see that. And then on the other side of the ball, man, I want to see Daniel Jones continue to just do what he's done. Not that he's playing terrible, but don't make mistakes. Give it to your playmakers. Trust those guys that come in and say, hey, I just want to, they come in and have that grit. They come in and they just want to win. At the end of the day, they're unselfish. So I'm hoping that the Giants continue to do that, and then ride your horse, man. Ride Saquon, man. Ride Saquon to the promised land. It's gonna be rough. You know what I'm saying? You got a good defensive team in the Cowboys right now, but I think the Giants are good enough to get the job done. I just don't trust that offense of the Dallas Cowboys, so that's why I'm going to Giants in this game. Final score 20-17.
2017 Giants defending at home.
Yes, sir. Giants go 3-0, baby. They go to 3-0, man. Who would have thought? The Giants 3-0, number one in the division. You know what I'm saying? Tied with the Eagles. Not just that sound ugly, don't it?
Bruh. And that's why it ain't gonna happen. The Giants ain't going 3-0, man. They 2-0 for the first time, I think, in 12 years or some 11 years or something like that. Some stat I saw, and then the two that they won, man. The first one that they maybe. I mean, I don't want to take it away from Tennessee because Tennessee's not great, but like I said, so a lot of things went their way, and they went out there and in the winning moments, took that game in the 2-point conversion play. Like I said, playing, and this is what I can appreciate about Brian Daboll. Now, of course, I'm a Daboll fan. I love what he did in Buffalo, man. He had to be integral, of course, in the progression with Big Josh Allen, man, from who he was when he came into the league and the guy he is now. And so that alone, I've got a lot of respect for Brian Daboll, and I'm excited to see what he does, especially when he gets his own guy in there. I know this is this last year for Daniel Jones. The organization themselves made it a point to let Brian Daboll know, hey, we're going to give Daniel Jones this year to see what we have in this guy. But I expect next year there's somebody else sitting in that chair for him. But all that said, Cooper Rush looked damn good, man. I got to give he really did. Cooper Rush looked great. And the thing about it is, now I don't want to overplay that or blow that out of proportion, but he still showed me there were still things and throws he made. He had good zip and velocity on the ball, better than I expected, honestly. And like I said, he found his security blanket, man, guy he's comfortable with, and Noah Brown, him and this guy getting them good practice and scout team reps together, man, and that connection shown true in live action. I'm gonna take Dallas. They're still just an uber talented team. Dallas can win this game on defense. Michael Parsons can make life hell on Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones both, and Trayvon Diggs. Daniel Jones, he's not above throwing 1, 2, or 3 to the teams in the other jerseys. And Trayvon Diggs is a guy that if he gets his hand on one of those, it could go 60 the other way. And so, like I said, between Micah and Trayvon Diggs, that could be 2 scores forced by that defense. Either a pick 6 by Trayvon or strip sack by Micah in favorable field position that tees them up for an early touchdown. But I expect 2 scores to be directly attributable to that Cowboys defense. And then I think they still can do, we've seen that they still can do just enough, man, with Cooper Rush playing as confidently as he did this last week. I think they've got an easier opponent. Now, an opponent that, like I said, man, this is a backyard brawl. So everybody knows each other well, and I think that Dallas still should have the horses to get it done. I'm taking Dallas on the road, 23-20. And last thing I'm gonna say, man, y'all know what's going on with me, man. Free TP, man. Somebody free my dog TP. I want Dallas to take the cuffs off TP, man. Zeke, I know we overpaid you, man. We paying you 16 and a half a year. And look, man, I done said it and I keep saying it, man. Free TP, man. TP need to be the lead dog in that room and let Zeke come in and spell. Let Zeke come in and goal line. Let Zeke come in an obvious pass situation because he's still a phenomenal pass blocker. But I think this offense is better served, man, with TP. I think getting the majority of those touches. It still needs to be a shared enterprise, but TP needs to be the first string and not the second in the rotation for my money, man. So free TP, stop playing. And after today's game, man, dare I say it, man, hey, I don't know if anybody's gonna be if Cooper Rush comes out and plays well. Let's imagine Cooper Rush comes out and lights up the Giants because they ain't got nobody who's on the other side wearing you if you're a Cowboys player. You got Leonard Williams in the front line. James Bradbury's not there. You still got
Adoree Jackson is
Adoree Jackson who came over from Tennessee. You got Xavier, or the safety they drafted out of Alabama. He's playing good ball, but the point I'm making is there's nobody over there that's going to make anybody stay up late at night tonight or late at night last night. You know what I mean? They're going to show up and play ball. So imagine he plays well a la Cincinnati, and then at that point, because they were the aggressive estimates on Dak Prescott's return were as soon as 4 weeks. And so it was like 4 to 6 or something like that. Now they come out and go 2-0 with Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is lighting up. I don't know, man. You might give Dak another week. Maybe, hey, I know they said 4, but let's go ahead and give it 5, big dog. Make sure. Now I don't know. I imagine they get cooking with Cooper Rush. That's what I want to see. Just for sports media in general, I want to see these Cowboys go 4-0 with Cooper Rush, and then I want to see Dak Prescott come back and sit in his Tony Romo seat and look at a team that's playing so damn good without you, and have the coaching staff and the organization be a little slow to bring you back. I just want to see it happen. Just for the everything to come full circle. I want to see it happen like that. So I'm pulling for the Cowboys, man. I'm pulling for the Cooper Rush's Cowboys, and I hope they go out there and light Saquon ass up.
Okay. All right. I heard you, man. All right, Willie Jack, man, we got 2 games left, man. We sit at about 12 minutes before the first kickoff. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead and jump into these last 2 games, y'all. Willie Jack, man, I'm gonna let you go, man. I need to hear your game of the week.
Come on, man. Y'all already knew what's going on, man. The game of the week, man. The only game that matters this week, man. Big Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills go down to South Beach to face Tua Tagovailoa, and top my mouth got dry. I should have took some water before I tried to say Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and those boys, man. So I'm expecting fireworks, Chop. This is a game that I hope lives up to the billing. I hope it lives up to the expectation, and I think it can. Buffalo's secondary is depleted right now. Buffalo's starting secondary today, rookie Kyer Elam, rookie guy that I don't know your name, 6th rounder, and then two safeties. I think one's a rookie and one's a second-year player. Both of those guys drafted in the 6th round as well. So that secondary is on fumes. They lose Micah Hyde last week in an unfortunate incident. Now, by all accounts, he's going to be okay and going to be able to play again, but it was a scary moment there. Head and neck injury. Head got snapped back. I'm sure probably a lot of you guys seen the clips. So he's definitely out this year. Jordan Poyer also not slated to play this game as well. And so that right there, if you're Buffalo, scares the hell out of you. The only thing you got going for you got Big Josh to keep y'all in the fight, in my mind. And I think he can still be the player as the best player on this field. I think he's the guy that can still rise up and take this game in the winning moments. Like I keep telling y'all, man, when you got one of them ones, dog, that means, man, I don't care what it's on the other side. I don't care that we got four 6th round rookies starting in the secondary against a team that put up 400 yards between 2 guys in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill last week and 4 touchdowns against a quarterback that threw 6 touchdowns. And you know what I'm going to tell you, Chop? Don't matter. It ain't enough because we got one of them ones, Chop, because Big Josh is still in the building, man. So give me Big Josh and Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, James Cook, any and everybody, man. Dawson Knox going to get involved. And I'm going, man, 41-37 Buffalo in a crazy shootout. Of course, Big Josh is going to be your performer of the week. I already told y'all last week, man. I promised y'all 5 touchdowns. It was a blowout. It got out of hand. He only gave y'all 4 touchdowns last week. I'm going Big Josh one more time again. 5 touchdowns again, Chop. 5 again. He's running it back. 5 again. He told me, me and Mick Josh, we holler a little bit, man, the day before the game. He told me, he's like, hey, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I was gonna give you 5 last week. We were whooping Tennessee ass so bad I had to come out the game, big dog. I couldn't do it. They was gonna look at me funny if I ran it up again. He's like, but this week, Miami looked like they scored some points. Our secondary's a little beat up. I'll get to be in there doing my thing all game this game, man. And so I'm looking for 5 for my dog, Big Josh. Man, take them how you want them, man. You want 4 in the air, you want 1 on the ground, you want 3 and 2. Man, pick your poison, but he's going for 5 and 350. 350 plus yards, 5 touchdowns, and they go out there and really take one from a division. And this is a key matchup in this division as well. 2 teams playing pretty well, and so this is important as far as seeding down the road. But give me Big Josh on the road, letting these boys know you thought you did something, but you didn't. This Big Josh league and the rest of y'all boys just lining up, man. Period. This Big Josh league and the rest of these boys just lining up. Instagram, come on with it, man. Big Josh all day.
All right, man. I figured you was going that way. I actually already have it already penciled in that you was picking Buffalo in this game.
Man, you know that.
So I already had it penciled in. I knew you was going that one. But I got Buffalo too, man. I got them winning 38-24. Buffalo is operating at the highest level possible right now, man. But Josh Allen, as I already stated, is playing at the MVP level right now. They have the number 3 offense and the number 2 defense in the league right now. You talking about the best team in the league playing right now? It's the Buffalo Bills, man. And the Buffalo Bills are playing at that level, even without some of their top guys. They was out there top guys, some of the top guys going against in week 1 against the Rams, supposed to be a prolific offense, you know what I'm saying? And they still went out there and did their thing against them boys, and one thing that they'll still have, regardless of that back end, they still got that pass rush. They still got Big Von Miller coming through, making some stuff happen. So Tua is definitely going to have to get rid of that ball quick, today. He's going to have to get rid of that ball, so that they and get it in those playmakers' hands the way he has done and so far, with Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Get it in their hands early and let them do their thing. I don't see them being able to run the ball as well. The run defense has been very stout for Buffalo. So it's going to have to come down to the guys that they drafted and the guys they brought over. Let's go make some plays. Let's get it in their hands and let's do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Tyreek Hill is one guy who has had success in the past against the Chiefs, taking slants 70, 80 yards down the sideline, outrunning the defense. So he's capable of flipping this field and changing this game. But, I don't necessarily see it happening today. Part of the reason, too, is I think I said it a little bit. I wasn't ready to stamp Tua just yet. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready to stamp him. And the reason why is because last game he still threw a couple interceptions, a couple crucial interceptions early in that game. And he just was able to find Tyreek Hill butt naked wide open, without a guy in sight 2 times, to help put him in that game, And then other than that, he had to make a couple other plays. But that's what it's going to come down to for Miami. They're going to need Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to show up big time, and the defense to be of some sort of resistance to this offense of Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. But I don't necessarily see it happen. So like I said, I got Buffalo winning this game. Miami comes back down to earth just a little bit, and Buffalo wins 38-24. All right.
38-24, gotcha.
38-24. All right, and then on to the last game of the week, my game of the week this week, man. I'm going Green Bay at Tampa Bay. If you haven't figured it out, you didn't know at first, man, that's the way I'm going, all right? But as good as a game as I feel like this really, really can be, I think this is a game that the injuries catch up with TB, you know what I'm saying, with Tampa Bay. They're missing Godwin, of course, Donovan Smith. Now Mike Evans is out because of the situation from last week in the game with the Saints. He suspended the game. Julio is a game-time decision. They went and signed Cole Beasley to help out with this receiver room. But with all that being said, I don't think it's enough. You've seen how frustrated Tom Brady and those Tampa Bay Bucks were last week going against the New Orleans Saints defense. And it's not going to get any easier this week. I expect some more frustration coming from Tom Brady going against this Green Bay Packers defense, who also have a pretty good D. I think Tom Brady is capable of playing a solid football game, you know what I'm saying? But solid won't be enough in this game, you know what I'm saying? Without the full arsenal, they can't score as much. They were out without the full arsenal week 1. The offense only scored 1 touchdown, you know what I'm saying? And the rest were field goals. In week 2, the offense only scored 1 touchdown. You know what I'm saying? They had a defensive score, too, to help them out. But the offense only scored 1 touchdown week 1 and 1 touchdown week 2. That's not going to be enough for this week going against the Green Bay Packers, who look to continue what they did last week. Aaron Jones got it going. He played well. Aaron Rodgers was playing at peak Aaron Rodgers. Although it wasn't a lot of those numbers that we normally see from Aaron Rodgers, he was sharp. He was efficient. He was consistent. He was making all the right decisions, and he was doing everything that he was supposed to do. And that's part of the reason why that I got the Green Bay Packers winning this particular game, and I got the final score being 24-16.
24-16. And you know what, man? This is one where, and my score is actually similar. I've got 24-19. And honestly, man, I'm going the same way. I'm going Green Bay. Now, this matchup with Green Bay and Tampa Bay's in they want to play a few times. I don't want to make it seem like it's an extended trend, but they've definitely had the upper hand on AA Ryan and Green Bay when they've met head to head. But Tampa Bay, just to the point you make, they're so depleted between injury and suspension that I just don't know like who Tom Brady's throwing the ball to. Cole Beasley and Scotty Miller ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? Julio Jones, man, he's not enough either. You know what I'm saying? Is he coming back? Maybe he's not coming back. I already told you about that. I ain't got to remind y'all. But even if he's there, I don't know how much I'm going to get out of him anyway, because he's still just 2 weeks into this offense himself. You know what I'm saying? So it's still just a tough ass, man, for TB12, man, touchdown Tommy, to go out there with two of the shortest white receivers that you can imagine, man. Cole Beasley and Scotty Miller may be 6'2" combined if they stand on each other's shoulders. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's a tall order, dog. It's a tall order, man. And playoff Lenny, you know what I'm saying? This regular season, man. Regular season Lenny and playoff Lenny, man. They might not. They're not necessarily the same guy. But Leonard Fournette, I shouldn't say that, man. It was in jest, but he is playing well. I think he looks good. You know what I'm saying? So I think they definitely lean on him to kind of slow the pace of this game down, and I mean, just they want to grind this one out. You know what I'm saying? They want this one to be about their defense, and then a consistent attack with Leonard Fournette, and then letting TB Tommy, touchdown Tommy, work off of that. But honestly, I just don't see how they realistically outduel A. Ryan and those guys. And not to say that they're any style of juggernaut either. You know what I'm saying? So they've still got questions and things that need answering on their own side of the ball offensively. Sammy Watkins, being Sammy Watkins, you know what I mean? A guy who's going to give you 2 or 3 performances throughout the course of a year that reminds you, oh yeah, that's the guy who was drafted as the first receiver in the draft ahead of Odell Beckham and Mike Evans. Oh, that's that guy. You know what I mean? But that he's good for that 2, maybe 3 times a year. And other than that, man, he's just another nameless, faceless guy who's outside running routes, man, good for 4 for 60 on most weeks. Romeo Dobbs, the rookie, hasn't shown up. Christian Watson, the rookie receiver from North Dakota State, still can't catch a cold butt naked in Alaska in the ice pool. You know what I'm saying? So they just have so many questions on their own on the outside, but they do have a very consistent run game, man, with Aaron Jones, just like I told y'all, getting off and getting busy last week, and then A.J. Dillon, man, still being the big horse that he is. So say all that to say, man, Green Bay, I think is the Green Bay and what they can do on offense being the difference maker, man. Give me 24-19, A. Ryan and them boys finally getting one against touchdown Tommy in Tampa.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Willie Jack, man, that wraps up week 3, man. It wraps up week 3 predictions, man. We gave y'all what y'all needed to hear, man. We talked about the performers of the week. Willie Jack told y'all, Big Josh Allen, man, another 5. He put in 5, 350 and 5.
You got 5 on it, man.
Dalvin Cook, man, 150 yards, man, 2 touchdowns. Watch and see, man. You need some fantasy advice. There you go. That's what it is. That's what it's going to look like. Jarrell say he took the Bucks in this one. I feel sorry for you, my brother. I think you're going to come down off that leaderboard this week. So we're going to see what that looks like. But Willie Jack, man, that's pretty much it, man. You going to wrap us up?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. And I'm not going to lie, Jarrell. I was super close to taking those Bucks as well. I just think the Bucks defense just matches up so well with the Packers offense, because their strength is in the front 7, and that's where the strength of Green Bay's offense is right now. But I just don't see anything on the counter side what Tom Brady's going to be able to do with Cole Beasley and Scotty Miller. But, hey, man, there y'all got it. Week 3's in the books, man. It's 12 o'clock on the dot. We mean those picks is solidified. The games is on right now, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. We're going to wrap it so short and sweet, man, so everybody can get to their Sunday morning or get to their Sunday afternoon. Everybody have fun. Be safe. Enjoy yourselves, man. Until next time, Wednesday, we will catch y'all.